I drove field cuts through my neighborhood.
Are you looking for unique and handcrafted art and jewelry that reflects your individuality? Look no further than LuckyBurritoArt.com, your one-stop destination for exquisite handmade treasures. At Lucky Burrito Art, we believe that every piece tells a story. Our customers rave about the quality and uniqueness of our products. When you wear Lucky Burrito Art, you're not just wearing jewelry or displaying artwork or wearing fashion, you're making a statement. Be sure to check out all the categories on LuckyBurritoArt.com. Check out the sold section to see what other folks have bought and loved. Shopping with us is easy and convenient. Simply visit LuckyBurritoArt.com. Browse our extensive collection, and just with a few clicks, your favorite piece will be on its way to you. So if you're ready to discover the world of handcrafted treasures, visit LuckyBurritoArt.com today.
Try it again.
Can you hear me now? I just did a whole intro and you guys couldn't hear me. Oh my gosh.
¿Cómo está, mi amigos?
Hi again. I'm Lucky. And Leo, who was absolutely whining before it was time to go to go live. He knows the schedule. He knows like when mommy gets in the seat and instead of Papa, it's time. Yay! You guys can hear us now. We have we have some crazy stuff for you guys tonight. I hope you guys brought your bingo cards. It was BYOB, bring your own bingo card. Oh. Because there is some stuff that I didn't expect to see on my bingo card. Definitely some things I didn't expect.
Popeye didn't expect the motorcycle shop fence catching on fire and getting photos, but he did.
Whoa.
It's one of those days.
I know it was one of those times where like the show kind of like wrote itself, like it's not like we're scripted here, but it was like, wow, crazy happening.
Everywhere you look, more and more.
Angela said, Leo says, I speak with my eyes, no words are needed. Is that you? Is that what you do?
It was a Harley shop. So how did it catch on fire? Was it just like all their Harley swag signage and stuff, all vinyl signage, and somebody was smoking meth and it just oof.
That's crazy because the custom piece that I made for Angela was like, the design was Harley mine design.
Well, vroom, 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 and your zoom, zoom.
Not because I made it like look like a Harley or like a car.
Harleys don't make a lot of cars, so it's cool.
Well, you said vroom vroom, and I thought I immediately went to car, whatever.
No, motorcycles make that too.
I know.
Whatever. Teresa 273, welcome to Burritonian Legendville.
Yeah. Angela, I think you'll probably get it in the mail tomorrow. I'm thinking it should be there tomorrow. We have to check the tracking number, but
yes, be fast and quick. Hello. Some guy was cutting a shipping container apart with a torch lot next door, and the exhaust from the generator caught the bushes on the fence on fire. That's yep.
Oh,
I can imagine that happening.
That's crazy.
I've seen similar things happen with people welding things and not paying attention to like the other stuff around them. I saw a guy catches he put a intake manifold on a car and a carburetor on his brand new motor that had a new cam, and I mean this thing was like crazy built, and then he was welding something and he burned the whole fucking thing down. It was a drag. I was like, oh, why did you do that? Well, I didn't know. You know, you didn't that, you know, gasoline and fire, bad. Okay.
Hi, Choosy. We're happy to have you here. So he said 3 extinguishers.
Oy.
That's crazy.
Passing up the Wi-Fi's, even though hecklefish is irresistible. The headline isn't something about surviving mass extinction. Get the fuck out of here. Nobody survives extinction by definition. That is a good point, sir. Often overlooked when people are discussing our fucking inevitable extinction.
Yeah, and humans are causing our own extinction. Like the end.
We are. But that's the thing. It's like if you call it an extinction event, that inherently means no one survives it. That's not a survivable scenario. It's extinction. Didn't burn the Harley shop. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Them sons of bitches is expensive, son. They freaking. I remember back when I was young and poor, and I thought, you know, I had a chance. Maybe I was going to buy one of those. And nope, never got around to it. Every time I got enough money, I had to do other things like raise babies and shit.
Well,
you know, it happens.
It does. And yeah, Angela said all we have in this hellscape is each other.
That is 100% correct. And if we haven't mentioned it already, we are very grateful for all 4 of you, or however many you guys are in the
yeah. Well, it messes with everything.
Tell. You never can tell. I'll see 6, 8, 10 people talking.
Yeah,
and then it'll say 3.
We're over on Rumble as well.
Yeah, the Rumble is where it's at.
I can't wait for them to integrate into StreamYard and everything.
Yeah, that should be very, very quickly. I think probably by the
There's
end of this month.
Snowy. We're just catching up and everything right now. You know, we let everybody kind of get in here before we really get the show started. And here's Bella. Good to see you too.
Snowy's taking vacation time. You know, he's taking he used to be the first one. He'd get here 5 minutes early when he showed up for work. Now it's like, I'll see you around 11:30 for lunch. All right. I'm just kidding. Good to see you there, Mr. Snow Kitty.
Yeah, Choosy, exactly. I think Leo agrees. Do you agree?
Yes.
He's the sweetest dog ever. Oh my gosh, we should show everybody the we'll have to put it up there after. If you guys stick around, you'll see the cutest. If you're not on Twitter, then you won't see it. Unless you see it here. Or on Twitter. Well, actually it's on Instagram too. But I put found pictures of when we were at Dead and Co. and Leo got spotted, and a meme got made out of us from Nugs TV. I know I've told that story a couple times,
Yep.
but it's just
But
funny
it's
that I found the
true.
pictures. So there's like crazy stuff happening. I mean, tonight we have a mixed show. I mean, we have everything from, scooters, like scooter theft and scooter like pirates, to missing chemicals, to trans activists, to the WHO and what they're saying for recommendations for children, and even some of the Biden administration, previous Biden administration employee.
Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me? Criminals and the Biden? Get out of here.
I didn't
Jack.
say that was a criminal.
Cornfield was a bad
Corn pop.
Cornfield was a bad pop, man. You know the thing. Come on, Jack. Lady Alex.
I do have the email that you sent too. I have that too, Lady Alex, and I'm gonna probably put that in tonight's show too. I'm really gonna try. Yeah, the first thing that I have is on the WHO.
Who?
Mm-hmm.
Who are you talking about? The World Health Organization? I've never heard of them.
I am. And this is a Daily Mail article, dailymail.com.
And I mean, I love the World Health Organization.
And this is from the 14th of May, 2023.
On YouTube.
The World Health Organization faces backlash over guidance for schools, saying children aged 4 and under should ask questions about sexuality and explore gender identities. A controversial document on child sexuality by the WHO has sparked a backlash. It suggested that children ages 4 and under should be taught about sexuality. Now, see, I'm in the, being a parent, I'm in the court of you teach your children age appropriate things for them, and that's going to vary based on each child. But the guidelines of what they're saying and they want to teach children, it's a little bit different. So the WHO is facing a backlash over its controversial guidance for children's sexuality and gender. The WHO guidelines suggest that children as young as 4 and under should be given sex education and explore gender identities. In a document published to provide guidance for policymakers in Europe, the organization claims that sexuality education starts from birth. That's just no. Officials describe the guide as a framework for policymakers, educational and health authorities, and specialists. The guidance suggests that children between 4 and 6 years old should be encouraged to talk about sexual matters. I don't agree with them when it comes to this. So here is their chart. If you are just listening, there is in the article, it's 0 to 4, and it says relationships and lifestyles. And so the first category is information. It's really hard to see this. Can I zoom in on this a little bit? Can I make it bigger? Okay. I don't know if it's going to be much clearer for you guys, but I'll read it. So this first category here under information is different kinds of relationships and different family relationships. So this is 0 to 4 years old. And then the skills enable children to talk about their own relationships and family. And then attitudes help children to develop a feeling of closeness and trust based on experience of bonding, a positive attitude towards different lifestyles, and awareness that relationships are diverse. I mean, it just seems a little bit young.
Yeah, it seems like they're just disregarding other, studies and information that show that, you know, children deciding those things and making those decisions at such young ages has been shown to be quite bad in the long run, and issues they have later and stuff. So like that's just
I feel like it's just setting kids up. It's just like
facilitates the fucking
it's they're just too young for this. This is not age appropriate in my opinion, being a parent. And so, this is my take on this.
Me too.
And yeah, and your opinion being a parent, you know what I mean? Like I think that you don't really need to have like a big have this huge conversation about it. When they're little, you just use appropriate terms and you just make it normal. You just normalize things. You don't need to like impose an education on them. Don't like it feels like indoctrination, I guess, to me. So sexuality, health, and well-being is this next category. And it says good and bad experiences of your body. What feels good, listen to your body. Okay, that makes sense. If the experience feeling is not good, you do not always have to comply. Okay. Trust their instincts, apply the 3-step model. Say no, go away, and talk to somebody you trust, and then achieve feelings of well-being. Okay. An appreciation of their body, the awareness that it's okay to ask for help. Okay, like that doesn't, but why is it's sexual health though and well-being? Like that just seems like that just seems too far. So sexuality rights, the right to be safe and protected. Why does under 4 years old, why do they have a sexuality right? Like they have a right to bodily autonomy. They have a right to not be, you know what I mean, assaulted or touched in inappropriate ways. Why are they talking about their sexuality right and rights? Like this doesn't seem right. The responsibility of adults. Okay, so sexuality and rights is right here in this next category. And the right to be safe and protected. Yes. The responsibility of adults for the safety of children. The right to ask questions about sexuality, and the right to explore gender identity. See, I don't agree with that. I think that kids should just be kids, and we shouldn't be so focused on their gender identity. I think that if boys want to play with things that are a typical little girl role, like dolls or whatever it is, then let them play with it. Who cares? If you make it a big deal and you make it like, oh my God, that little girl is playing with a truck, she must be, you know what I mean? We have to gender affirm this child, then that's wrong. That's taking it way too far. Just let them play with what they're going to play with. I grew up a little girl and I played out in the dirt and was like with the boys and having like, I was a tomboy, and that was it. Like but I played with dolls too. Like I was very fluid with whatever I wanted to do. And I still do that as an adult. I don't like conform to any like gender roles. And I'm not confused about my gender at all. I never was. So I think that's important, So the right to ask questions about sexuality. Why are kids under 4 asking about sexuality? Like they don't even start talking when they're 0, like it's 0 to 4. And the right to explore gender identities. No. Say yes and no. I agree with that. They should be able to say yes and no about things. Develop communication skills is the next category here, and express needs and wishes. Differentiate between good and bad secrets. Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense. But why is it with the sexuality and rights? Like, why are they wanting children to explore gender identities?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. 4-year-olds don't give a fuck about that shit. It's just dumb.
No 4-year-olds that I've ever met.
I remember being 4. I remember wanting to go fishing. I wanted to do stuff. I wanted to ride the bike. You know, I wouldn't want to talk about my sexuality. It's just
it wasn't even something that I remember
what the fuck
being
are you talking about?
like it's not something that was of concern at all. And then the last category here under that sexuality and rights is an awareness of their rights, which leads to self-confidence. The attitude, my body belongs to me, and the feelings that they can make their own decisions. Yeah, you want kids to be able to make their own age appropriate decisions. I mean, you give them choices that are age appropriate, but sexuality and under 4 years old, those don't go together. Society. Oh wait, what's that one say? Social and cultural determinants of. It's like a little bit fuzzy.
Right.
Sexuality values / norms is the last category. So societal rules and cultural norms / values, gender roles. See that I think gender roles, that brings us backwards. Being so focused on gender ideology is actually bringing us backwards. It's taking away everything that we've fought for. It really is, because it's like now there's like these like very traditional gender roles that you have to like fit into. You know what I mean? Like you can't be a female that doesn't like to wear dresses. Like all of a sudden, like no, that's not a matter of that. Like that's not the same thing. That doesn't mean that you're an opposite gender if you don't like to wear dresses. Social distance to be maintained with various people. Yeah, they should know that they don't have to hug somebody if they don't want to. They don't have to sit on somebody's lap if they don't want to. They don't have to kiss another, person, adult. They don't have to do that. They should not be forced. That shouldn't be something that is like they're forced to do. Like, oh, here's your aunt, just because they're your aunt or your uncle, that you have to go over and love on these people. So that I agree with them not forcing them to do those things if they aren't comfortable in pushing those boundaries. If they're shy, then they're shy. Like that's just that there's no reason to do that to children. So the influence of age on sexuality and age appropriate behavior and the norms about nakedness. Is that what that says? I think that's what that first category says.
Sure.
And then the second one is differentiate between private and public behavior. Respect societal rules and cultural norms, behave appropriately according to context, know where you can touch. Okay, you're talking about little kids. The last one is respect for their own and others' bodies, acceptance of societal rules about privacy and intimacy, and respect for no and yes from others. Okay, so that's the WHO's chart. Oh my gosh, no, they put it down here where it actually is clear. Okay. So then they go on to talk about sexuality in this first category here. And then it says enjoyment and pleasure when touching one's body, early childhood masturbation. I don't remember ever having any kind of conversation about that as a kid, especially under the age of 4.
I mean, generally not unless there was already some kind of fucking problem with an adult or a fucking child touching another child. There'd be no discussion of that because it just wouldn't. It's not age appropriate. It's just not a thing that you get into. I mean, certainly everything is, on a broad spectrum anyway. You know what I mean? You certainly could encounter it, but probably wouldn't.
But you don't need to introduce it if it's not an issue. Yeah. Like, and then it says discovery of my own body and my own genitals.
Exactly. West, like before I was 5, I didn't understand the need for clothes. I just run around naked because why not? Because who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like Skylar used to run around in a diaper all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Like a diaper outside or just whatever. Like it didn't matter. Like in the summertime, like she was a baby. You know what I mean?
That's how kids were. I mean, in the 70s when I was a little kid, my mom has pictures of me and the neighbor kids and these other kids that I grew up with, like didn't even know, like years and years later. And then like me and this other kid are just out there in our little diapers running around with our little butts hanging out. And it was like, oh wow, well that wasn't a big deal back then because that was like standard. You didn't put clothes on the baby in the summertime to run around outside and get wet in the hose. Like it's not what you do.
Yeah. The fact that enjoyment of physical closeness is a normal part of everyone's life, and tenderness and physical closeness is an expression of love and affection. See, that starts getting a little bit weird for me. Like, what do they specifically mean by that? Like, you show your kids that, like that you give them love and affection, you give them hugs, you know what I mean? Like where is this going? And the last category on that under sexuality is gain awareness, gender identity. Why? Talk about pleasurable feelings in one's own body, express own needs, wishes, and boundaries, for example, in the context of playing doctor.
Yeah, that's basically how you come about these. If you have older siblings and cousins and other kin around you and other neighbor kids, or you live on a farm, those kids are exposed to it much younger because they can see the animals mating. You know what I mean? They understand that how it's working. Like, you have sex part, you got funny parts, and you got funny parts, and we know about each other's funny parts even before you even know what feeling good from a touch is, or any kind of aspect of understanding. Well, I like to play with dolls, so that makes me feminine. Like, no, there's none of that. None of that should be decided at that point. Why does it fucking matter is my argument. Why?
It doesn't. It's just putting all these like labels and all this, all like more information onto kids and stuff. Like, so it says the guidance includes a recommendation that children as young as 4 and under are taught about masturbation. That's part of the WHO, the World Health Organization recommendations. I'm like, why would they even? Who came up with this? How many people were involved for this to come up with this, and then for them to make a chart and like everything else, and that many people went along with it?
Agree with that sentiment. That 4-year-old, like, the idea is insane to me. Like, how we got to this point and how they're just normalizing it. So they're going to introduce this legislation. They're an unelected fucking body of fucking doctors and fucking fuck ups that are going to say, oh no, well, we wrote the paper and it turns out 4-year-olds know their gender and their sexual identity. And they want to discover that when they're 4. Like, no, you're just grooming fucking children for fucking future use. Like, it's gross. Fuck those people.
Yeah. It this seems like it's too far for me. It goes beyond, and they're getting backlash from it. So it's not just our opinion. No, I mean, it's not just us. They're getting backlash about this.
It's common sense, and it's like, there's not to be like, try to be moral about it or anything, but the facts are, as we've presented them, those guys should not be making this decision for children fundamentally without some basic understanding of what it means to fucking raise a child and have that experience and that, that applied experience. Like, I'm not going to listen to anybody. You got a big boardroom of fucking scientists that see their kids on the weekend because they're fucking WHO fucking members that are time occupied by this giant entity telling everybody how to fucking take care of their health. That's presumptuous right off the rip. But what the fuck, man? No. It's dumb on its face. So are we almost through this? What's we got here? These people are fucking pathetic.
Okay, so the document also cited in a report consulted by Welsh Ministries, which introduced a mandatory sex education syllabus last year. So like they want to use this as part of like the guidance for schools. The government spokesperson said the UK government does not recognize this WHO guidance, and we do not agree with its recommendations. We have not distributed or promoted it to schools. We offer our own guidance to help schools to teach children and young people about relationships and health. So the Child Safety Campaign Safe Schools Alliance also commented on the document. Spokesperson said an urgent inquiry is needed into how this ideology has come to influence so much public thinking. The WHO said that it stood by its guidance on child sexuality despite the backlash. A spokesperson for the organization said your guidelines reflect established psychological facts about children understanding their bodies and psychosocial development based on decades of research. So yeah, I feel like that's way too far. We need to take it back a notch here. You know, I feel like
I'm sorry, you lost me when Salty's like, I watched a dog try to bang a llama. I just got a chair and sat down and laughed my ass off.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh my god.
That is hilarious.
Salty.
Can't talk about dogs' lipsticks on the internet, man. We'll get a fine.
That's all. You know, that's the password, right? Like if there's something wrong, it's the dog's lipstick.
Anytime there's a bad thing happening, you know, if you see the SWAT team coming in, the dog's lipstick.
No, and that's a real thing. Like that's not something I'm just making up right now. That is something that we do use. It's gonna let me do this thing. I'm trying to get it on. The next thing is a clip. It's from.
It will. It's just a little laggy.
It is from TikTok. It's a new thing. I don't know if you guys have heard of this.
It's a new thing.
Because, you know, there's always a new thing. Where did the frick it go? That's not, I wanted this. Do it. Okay. I got it. Let me just add it over here to the screen.
What is Popeye talking about? Wait a second. When I was in junior high school and brothers were in high school, us and some of their friends wrote a porn story book, and my oldest brother did the one about Geppetto, the toy shop owner who had his snapping turtle, etc. And all I thought the book was because my middle brother found a porno novel that had nude pics at the start of each chapter.
Okay, Steve, you don't have to read everything people say.
I read the funny ones. I'm sorry. Although that was my job.
Okay, so this is like a new thing. It's called childism.
Snowy leopard.
Have you guys heard of this before?
What is it called again?
Childism.
Childism.
Yeah.
Child. Is it? Yeah. No.
All right. I'm going to mute us for 1 second just so I can play this without it echoing.
Okay.
You know about childism? This term hasn't trended yet, and people aren't talking about this. I think it's totally valid. Childism is the idea of, well, sexism, racism, discrimination against your sex, discrimination against your race. Well, childism is discrimination because you're a child. Like, for example, if a student were to come up to me and say, hey, Desi, I'm non-binary, can you call me they? And I told that student, oh, honey, you're way too young to know your gender identity. This would not only be transphobic, this would also be considered childism. Not only am I not respecting their pronouns, I would also be discriminating against them because of their age. I'm saying they are too young to know what their gender identity is. But you can do this in other ways too. If you don't respect children's opinion, which are completely valid, that's a form of childism. Well, enough credit, because it happens all the time. Just like ageism is a thing, we are discriminating against old people. Childism is a thing too. Children need more of a voice, in my opinion. So I'm a teacher. This helps. Do you know about
Go ahead.
Of course, childism has been a thing since there have been children. You know, the children ride in the back. The children go make the coffee. The children cut the grass. The children stop beating up your other children. All, you know, like that's what children are. You know, childism has been a thing forever. But that's like, you know, that's like, duh, that's not a thing, dude. That's called being a child. It's called, that's how shit is in the world, in the reality spaces, right? I think that's what it is. I'm pretty sure. That's the way it was for me as a child. That's all I'm saying.
You know, yeah, like the kids don't know better than the adults. So sometimes the adults are like, yeah, no, the kids, you know what I mean? We get
always, unless the adults are dumbasses, they're always at the top of the fucking food chain with their children as far as telling them what they're doing and what they're not doing.
It's our job as adults to teach children.
It is our fucking job as parents to practice childism. Because shut up and sit down. I told you to stop talking.
I mean, yes, children, you know what I mean? Like, we should listen to what they have to say.
Of course.
And we should be
I'm fucking ready to hear it.
And we should be respectful to them.
But right now, it's time to sit in that chair.
Well, you need to be quiet right now. How about that?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I'll try.
I'm not a child. You know what I mean? Like, kids are supposed to, you know what I mean? They're supposed to learn from it. They're supposed to learn. We're supposed to guide them. We're supposed to help them. We're not supposed to just be like, yeah, I'm gonna, whatever you say is what it is. I mean, what kind of who lets the kids just rule the roost?
Oz says, I say we start arming the monkeys now.
Seriously,
give them all automatic weapons.
I mean, does this not seem
itself out?
You know, does this not seem like, you know, crazy?
Oh man, I'm still mad at Tim Burton for making the bad Planet of the Apes movie. Son of a bitch. Different topic. I may seem like a child, but I assure you, your childism doesn't work on me. That's right. Snowy's cat practice Snowyism. Catisms. Humanisms. The cat's a humanist. Hey, call my cat a humanist. Your cat's got humanism issues, man.
It's just
it's so ludicrous, man. Let's put a label on everything.
It's
all the things.
I feel like we're just completely out of balance, out of whack, like everywhere, like, with everything.
Yes, more and more. Like I didn't have any of these things on my bingo card, and here we are.
I mean, what about this next thing? Did you have this on your bingo card?
I don't know. I only had to select a few things. Mostly it was about George Bush Jr., ironically enough. I think they were from 2004. I don't know.
What about the 10-year-old serving you at McDonald's?
Oh, yeah. You got some fries with that? Oh, yeah. 10-year-olds were discovered working unpaid until as late as 2 a.m. because, you know, might as well keep them. You know, they got to clean up the shop when you're done. A restaurant in Louisville, Kentucky, operated by Bauer Food LLC, the Labor Department said. You know, the kids are like, hey, man, we need jobs too, bro.
I mean,
my meth head brother smoked all my weed. I got to get some money, bro.
So this
he's 10. Come on, kid's a hustler.
Okay. So this is that ABC with the peacock that has the peacock? Or no, NBC. NBC news.
WNBC.
Okay, Steve, I'm trying. It's from May 3rd, 2023. 10-year-olds among hundreds of children found working at McDonald's restaurants. Hundreds. Like the adults in the room.
It's not just like two brothers
are failing kids. Yeah.
It's
hundreds.
Not, you know, those poor kids from around the corner. Well, they're doing good. They're 10 and now they got a job at McDonald's. It's fine.
2 10-year-olds were discovered working unpaid until as late as 2 a.m. at one McDonald's restaurant.
Yeah. People, Chick-fil-A people want to, you know, Chick-fil-A, to be sure, is one of the top chicken sandwiches sought after by unemployed people in this country.
I mean, and there was
children included, apparently.
There was just that tweet that, like, I don't know, probably like a month ago, like the Libertarian Party had said that they were like, bring back child labor. And I was like, and I tagged them and I was like, really? With like a question mark? They were like, yeah, of course.
Duh.
Like, are you kidding me? Of course.
They were taking the childism a little bit far. You know, they were just like, well, you know, yes, we are the bosses of our children because we are their parents. So, of course, there are underlings and you can treat them as such because they're your children. Fuck. But don't make them work at McDonald's till 2 a.m. for a fucking...
I don't want to work at McDonald's until 2 a.m.
That's just not nice.
You know? And they're not even getting paid.
And they're not even getting paid.
Like, this just breaks all the laws.
I was lobbying for a chicken sandwich for him.
I mean, at least pay him a thriving wage if you're going to make him stay up until 2 a.m.
What's a 10-year-old need? Like $1.50 an hour or something? You could just.
No, they should have a thriving wage. If they're going to be put to work, they should be getting good pay.
Good pay. What is good pay for a 10-year-old these days? I wonder.
Whatever thriving wage is.
If everybody else is getting shit wage for $15 an hour, then what's a good wage for a 10-year-old? How much should it? Hey, Siri, how much should I be paying my 10-year-old to work at the fast food restaurant?
I mean, like, oh my gosh. Okay, so let's see what this clip says here.
Today's wages are.
Okay, I'm gonna mute us. Hang on.
Kids that young working something so dangerous. It's just wild. I can't believe that they actually had kids that young working something so dangerous.
It'll be a few years before Kelsey Donovan's daughter joins the workforce. When that happens, Kelsey would hate for a future employer to take advantage of the situation.
Yeah, of course you wanted to know how to work hard, but you also want her to know who to work hard for.
Like many parents, Donovan was shocked to learn that 3 Kentucky-based McDonald's ownership teams face more than $212,000 in fines for violating child labor laws.
The fact that 10-year-olds were working was a bit surprising to me.
Investigators with the U.S. Department of Labor say 2 10-year-olds worked for free at a McDonald's in the Louisville area, sometimes until 2 in the morning. In all, 3 franchisees, including one based in Walton, are being penalized for allegedly letting mostly 14 and 15-year-olds work more than 3 hours on school days, which is the legal limit.
It's a lot of work to go to school, work 3 hours, and do homework.
Thanks for acknowledging the mobile app today.
Because of today's tight labor market, Chase College of Law professor Ken Katkin is not shocked that some businesses may try to squeeze extra work out of teenagers.
Employers definitely have incentives, business incentives to go over the line here, but law enforcement, has incentives to hold the line here, and the laws are for the protection of children.
Yeah, of course we empathize with companies trying to get labor right now. It's a difficult market right now, but definitely we don't want companies feeling that desperate so that they have to go out and get children. It's crazy.
Woodland Park, Colorado, a tight
Yeah, the
So like so they didn't even pay them, and then they just pay a fee. Like they just pay a fine. They got all that free labor, and then they just have to pay a fine.
yeah, and the kids are working off the fine. So that's
Like,
fine.
did they have to give the kids pay? Did they at least have to pay the kids? If they...
Wes asked, where are the kids' parents? And I'm like, well, they're working at the gas station across the street, of course.
Or yeah, or yeah, like
CVS.
are the parents like the owners? Like what's happening here?
Parents owners of the McDonald's. Oh boy,
I mean, like this is ridiculous.
it's pretty wacky. Yeah, they're just trying to
And
replace Mexican illegals with children at this point. It's, it'll work out fine. Everybody will have a job, and
Yeah, McDonald's is absolutely
Right.
disgusting. It's really not food. I wouldn't suggest eating there.
nope,
Like if you
Sorry.
really look into what that food is,
not loving it.
yeah, no, I do not. I don't want anything from that place. And I used to eat there. Like on occasion, we used to eat there. But yeah, yeah, and like okay, so they're not getting paid on the books too. So like these kids, like, and anybody who's if they have underage workers, they can't, like they're paying in, like they're getting completely 100% profit from these kids that are not paying, and the kids, like it's not like they get to have a 401, like they don't get any benefit of this as later in life. It's not like it's go on their social security record. You know what I mean? Not like they're, who knows what will happen with social security by the time they grow up. But it's like these kids get no benefit,
Yep,
all the risk.
no benefits.
The
and
restaurant gets all the reward.
the restaurant's like, what? Fines? Sure, whatever. Oh, fuck, I got 90 more kids waiting tomorrow to come in right after school. Whatever. Right before school, all the kids are leaving at lunch. Where you going? Go get some McDonald's. I'll be back later tomorrow. It's like, I got to go to work. I'll catch you later, Mrs. Smith.
I mean, and that's the consequence. Like they're like, yeah, they have to pay a fine, but do they have to pay the kids? I'd like to know if they had to pay the kids.
Yeah, I don't think they have to pay the kids. I think they just completely fucked over the kids on this particular little endeavor.
Well, right here it says these two children prepared and distributed food orders, cleaned the store, worked at the drive-through window, and operated a register. What? These
fucking
kids can't
model
even drive yet.
Model employees.
One of them was also allowed to operate a deep fryer. A task prohibited for workers under the age of 16 under federal law. Most of the restaurants, 45 of the 62, that many of them were in Kentucky, according to data released by the department. The two 10-year-olds were among at least 305 children found to have been employed in violation of federal labor laws across 62 McDonald's locations in Kentucky, Indiana, Maryland, and Ohio. Operated under 3 franchises. Bauer Food LLC, Archways, Richwood LLC, and Bell Restaurant Group LLC, the Labor Department said. Bauer Food LLC said the two 10-year-olds alleged to have been employed at the McDonald's restaurants were children of a night manager who were visiting their parent at work and were not approved by franchise organization management to be part of the restaurant. Okay, so you're putting your own kids to work at the restaurant at the behest of corporation. And they get hurt, what? Like they just get hurt? Like, are they doing your job for you? Did people think it was cute? Like, did nobody have an issue with going in there?
They were, because they were doing all the jobs and they were probably doing them well. You can have a 10-year-old could feasibly do any job in a McDonald's.
Oh yeah, the fryer is especially a good job for them.
Everything's automated, really simple in there. You know what I mean? That's why. So you teach them the system of it. And
how many people, how many adults saw kids doing these jobs? And like this one lady was just there by herself, or there was a whole, You know what I mean? It's the children of your night. If it's your night manager that's doing it, are you going to say something about her having her kids there? Because then you'll probably get fired. This is just messed up. The franchise said it had taken steps to ensure policies regarding children visiting a parent or guardian at work were clear to all employees. These reports are unacceptable, deeply troubling, and run afoul of high expectations we have with the entire McDonald's brand. Oh, that's laughable.
Tiffany Boyd, Senior Vice President and Chief People Officer at McDonald's USA, said in a statement, "It is not lost on us that the significant responsibility we carry to ensure a positive and safe experience for everyone under the arches. I know how important it is that every restaurant fosters a culture of safety. As a mother whose teenage son proudly worked at our local McDonald's, I feel this on a very personal level," she added. "We are committed to ensuring our franchises have the resources they need to foster safe workplaces for all employees, including 10-year-olds, and maintain compliance with all labor laws." Is that what it said?
Yeah.
Archways Redwood LLC did not immediately respond to requests for comment from NBC News early Wednesday. A LinkedIn account appearing to belong to the owner of Bell Restaurant Group LLC did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Ronald McDonald could not be reached. And the grimace was in a dumpster smoking hubbas.
No, that's alleged. Too often employees fail to follow the child labor laws that protect young workers. And that was Karen Garnett Civils, the Wage and Hour Division District Director in Louisville, and said in a statement, under no circumstances should there ever be a 10-year-old working at a fast food kitchen around hot grills, ovens, and deep fry.
Except for in Kentucky.
The employers face civil money penalties with the estimated combined total of more than $212,000. Yeah, so like, how much did they get in free labor though? You know what I mean? If they're pushing this, did their revenue outweigh that 212? Because if it, you know what I mean, if they got away with it, then they're not going to care. There's not going to be any. There's not any real consequence then.
I'm willing to bet that they don't care now.
So Archways Richwood LLC, based in Walton, was found to have allowed 242 children between the ages of 14 and 15 to work beyond allowable hours. Most worked earlier or later in the day than the law permits, and more than 3 hours on school days. The Labor Department said the employer was expected to be fined an estimated $143,566 in civil money penalties for the violations. Where does that money go? You know what I mean? Like, where do these penalties go? And how much did, you know what I mean? Like, how much does that really? That's 242 children. So we should do the math. I want to know how many child that they're getting fined, right? Let me see.
Yeah, I think kids working, like in any situation, whatever, like if it's age appropriate and it's not like a danger to the child, you know, like any real danger, then fucking why not, man? I was working since I was a little kid. Like, you don't have to be a certain age. You have to be a certain kind of maturity and understand the basics and have common sense. You don't just have every kid do things that are potentially dangerous, because you know what I mean? You're just asking for trouble at that point. If some kid's just a space cadet and you know,
yep,
there's kids that are just excellent at following tasks and completing tasks, but by the time they're 4 years old, they could do anything.
Yeah.
You know,
age appropriate. That's
exactly.
the thing. It needs to be appropriate for the age. So I did the math on that. The 143,566 divided by 242 children equals $593.24 per child that they're getting fined.
Yeah. Adams.
for those 242 kids. And that's just the 14 to 15-year-olds. So, and like, that's the thing is that, like, see, I think it's okay if kids work on, like, the family farm or doing things like that, but you're not going to put kids in, I don't think kids should be put in danger. I think that they, like, I grew up with friends of mine that, like, we had to do the farm stand, or we, what I mean? Like, we ran stuff like that, or they went and picked stuff, or they did stuff around, like, in the farmer's market and things like that. And like, when Skyla was little, she helped me when I would vend at, like, farmer's market, or if I was vending at places, but like, it was never like, it was never like labor intensive to the point where, or like out of her age appropriate,
I think it's totally appropriate to get children into the idea of completing tasks and incentivization and you know what I mean? Giving them things and goals and stuff, and you know what I mean? Teaching them that it's very beneficial that they should know that as young as they can, and learn that hard work can pay off.
Yeah, and like, you
get that risk reward thing,
but that's why they get an allowance at home.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you give kids an allowance if they do extra things, they do things around the house. That's why little kids like to have, like, little miniature brooms, and they like to have a vacuum, and they mimic you doing those things. That's how you teach them. Yeah. But like, not paying them and forcing them to work at a McDonald's.
No, that's not cool.
I mean, they might have had fun. The kids probably had fun.
Child labor, like in like factory setting, where it's like a big giant.
There needs to be a balance.
I think that's just preposterous, and that's just dangerous and stupid. But in rural situations, and like around your home, or if you have a small business, whatever, like in those kind of situations where it can be safe for the child, then fuck yeah, you should teach your child to work hard as early as you can, because it's going to benefit them in the long run.
Yeah, but there is a balance to it, though.
At the same time, as bad as that is as bad as all the fucking predatory motherfuckers in every walk of life, just snatching kids and raping them and selling them, and all these illegals at the border, and they're just flying them around and stuff. And like, what's happening in the fucking world right now with pedos and fucking children, man?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like this.
Well, look at what we just covered with the WHO.
I mean, it's just more and more. It's just more depraved as we go.
It's pretty insane. You know what I mean? So
it's like a really bad John Waters movie that just like went off the rails. It just keeps getting worse.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, everything should be age appropriate. And we need to figure out what is age appropriate. I mean, it's really messed up, because there is literally children mining in Africa to get things like that we need for our computers and we need for our batteries. Like, I'm not okay with that either.
At the same time, the idea of children working as young as they could has been around in every single culture all around the planet forever. So you can say what you want about it, but it's going to happen in whatever field it is. Whatever the demand is going to still dictate those children are still going to be at risk. They're still going to work, because that's the way that fucking place is. That's the way most places are. We're supposed to hold ourselves to a higher level, right? And that's why it's the shining beacon on the hill and all the fucking pomp and circumstance around the US. It's all horse shit, and it's all just prefabrication and this imagined fucking sense of what's right and what's morally fucking acceptable. It's all fucking nonsense. We do the same depraved things that any other fucking man, any other place in the world does, and we probably do it more effectively because we're that much more fucking up our own asses.
I mean, I think that everything needs to be within like limits. There has to be within reason. But no, I don't think that children should be working at McDonald's.
I don't think so either. Unless it was my McDonald's and they were coming and they wanted a burger and, you know, we ate McDonald's, which is highly unlikely any of that scenario is true. But if it were, and I was like, you know, some big, fat, greasy, rich McDonald's fucking franchise owner guy and taking my fat, greasy kids to the fucking cook something to eat, then maybe I would take them and let them do that. I wouldn't have them cook orders for other people, you know, but you could teach them how it worked. I don't think it would be that dangerous in a completely fucking sterile environment as the fucking McDonald's is as a kitchen. It's pretty fucking, everything is isolated and fucking compartmentalized. You know what I mean? It's weird. It's like fucking Star Trek fucking kitchen.
So
strange.
On a different note,
yeah,
we're gonna kind of like switch it up a little bit. Like tonight, we definitely have a lot of different, like, you know, topics from all over the place. So there is some major controversy happening over Queen Cleopatra. There's a new Netflix documentary, and people are mad that she is a woman of color, that she has darker skin.
Also, can I just a little commentary on the thing that we just called a documentary? I think that
they call it it says a Netflix documentary. Netflix is calling it that. So
they've taken poetic license with the term documentary. Okay, I just wanted to acknowledge that before we went further.
So yeah,
it was terrible.
It didn't really get great reviews, but a lot of it is because people were so upset that Cleopatra was depicted as a dark-skinned woman.
I was more upset with the fact that it really was not a documentary in any fucking sense of the term, and it was full of terrible acting and poor writing. So there's that. I didn't really care what color she was. She could have been fucking phosphorescent orange for all I gave a fuck, you know, but ultimately just bad.
I found it interesting, but I don't trust all the information.
You see, Angela, Jada Pinkett Smith was behind the project. You better watch it. Will Smith will come up here and put the whoop on your ass.
He's gonna whoop us. He's gonna guess with his huge hand. His hands are huge. Did you see when he smacked?
Keep patch out your mouth.
So the series sparked outrage in Egypt for the portrayal of Egyptian queen who was of Greek origin, with former Egyptian antiquities ministers saying Cleopatra was Greek, which means she was fair-skinned, not black.
Really? Greek people are all fair-skinned? Never met a dark Greek person. Has anybody ever met a Greek person?
And it has a 1-star rating on IMDb and 2% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes. So, but that's the reason why people are so outraged, is because of the color of her skin.
Yep. That is unsettlingly true, Teresa. That is very true. The fact is that we evolve, right? We're supposed to be better, but we're just a bunch of hypocrites that just keep going in circles. Like you're big mad because she's got dark skin and you think she should be more olive skin. Like you need somebody who had a fairer complexion for you to fucking validate this fucking thing they call the documentary, which was in no way a fucking factual piece of fucking evidence about anything.
No, because there's a lot of information about Queen Cleopatra that even in the Netflix series that they don't, you know what I mean? I don't want to spoil it for anybody. Obviously it did not get good reviews, yeah. But you know, like, we can't necessarily say, and they say that during the documentary, like they say that there's some controversy over whether or not she was a lighter skinned woman or not. And they do address that. I remember them saying that, you know what I mean? But like, why is that what the problem is? Why is that? the issue? Why is it that everybody wants to have like, well, not everybody, I'm not saying everybody, I said everybody, but I didn't mean everybody, but like, why is it that we don't have a conversation about why Jesus is depicted as being a very Caucasian person when, according to their own, their own book, that he would be from like the Middle East? He wouldn't be that like light Caucasian person. So, like the hypocrisy is everywhere with all of this. And like, it just completely misses the point that it really wasn't that great of a documentary and they're focused on the wrong thing. Like, they should really be upset that it just wasn't that great.
Not that great. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the movie portion of the program.
I thought
I'm
that this
Roger
would be...
Hammerstein, and this is Gene Siskel's. Siskins?
And my earrings are kind of like they kind of reminded me, like I designed them and made them before we watched this. So like it wasn't because I watched Cleopatra. I did them before. I designed them beforehand, but afterwards I was like, oh, they kind of remind me of like, like what something that Cleopatra would have worn.
That's kind of remind me of
well, it's just
the
the
image
colors
I have in my mind of what she may or may not have wore 3,000
well, no,
years
it's
ago.
just like with the gold and everything like that and the metals and stuff and
Sure.
this pair. I'll show you.
I imagine myself wearing what the Romans wore at the time, when it was fashionable. Romans and Egyptians hated each other, because Egypt was like this mega fucking mega ass civilization for probably tens of thousands of years. What we're learning these days, anthropologists are fucking idiots, and they have no idea. And Egyptologists, turns out, bigger idiots. What are you gonna do? You can pretend that the pyramids are only yay many years old. You can pretend. You can pretend that the giant ripples on the earth are not from water, from the ocean, 800, 700, 800 feet tall when things happen and water flooded everywhere. That's, biblical stories, and prior to biblical stories, people talk about that. I don't understand why there's such a convolution between like ancient things and current information. Like,
Why can't we just say we don't exactly know?
Right. It's
like why is there just none of that?
Well, there are so many things that like kind of tell you the story, right? There's so many texts that like really paint a picture that anthropology is just like, no, you guys are full of shit. That's nothing. But it's all these reoccurring things and themes and ideas that about 12,000 years ago, something really fucked up happened here. That seems like it might be going to happen again real soon because everything's getting fucking all topsy-turvy. So if that's the case, then why can't we just agree that something really fucking crazy happened that we have no explanation for? And it seems like everything is speeding up exponentially to another point, like probably like it was then, right? Because they said at that time all the fucking the tornadoes and storms and everything were crazy and volcanoes are popping off and the fucking earth is just like violent with craziness, right? We're doing the same energy ourselves on this planet, walking around every day and just manifesting this end fucking game thing that people have programmed themselves like, well, it says in the Bible we're gonna have a lake of fire, so we're gonna start building one in Ohio. Just tip over these trains, we'll light it up. You know what I mean? It's just like you have to fucking manifest this fucking stupidity, this idiocracy will come to fruition because we will it so. And there's enough idiots trying to will it so. I'm like, will it no, bitch? You know what I mean? When does the Stone Age start? That's what I want to know, bro.
It's just
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know.
Rocco Welch in that caveman movie in 1967 or 9 or 8, some one of them years, like right around the time I was born. Holy crap in the molies.
Oh my gosh. This next one,
She was a friggin'
you guys are gonna love this one.
dime piece. What?
You're gonna
What is
love
it? What
you're
is
gonna
it?
you're gonna
I love the McDonald's store. I think that's the fantastic. At least we got some ambitious.
is that your
kids
top
out there.
story? You
No,
think
no,
that's the
no,
best
no,
one out of
there's-
all of them?
There's others that are equally.
Well, this one will this one will make you guys. Oh,
Easy now.
whoops.
The firing range is down the hall, boys.
Wait
Take it easy now. Put that thing away.
till you guys see this. If you guys already saw
Safety's
this,
on,
if this
gentlemen.
was on your bingo card, then you know. Oh, I mean, this is just. All right. Are you ready? You know which clip this is, Steve. I know you remember. So
Yes.
this is the police at a shooting range. And watch what they're doing.
This is my favorite thing I've ever seen.
All right. I'm going to mute. I don't know if I have to.
You
do
don't
I?
have to. It's quick.
Okay. Well, I'll probably let it play more than once just so you guys don't miss it, you know?
Pay attention to the man walking back and forth.
Why did you just spoil it?
Just play it.
You just spoiled it.
No, it's not spoiling.
You
It's so-
you just
it's so
spoiled
they
it.
keep their attention on the man walking.
How much do you trust your coworkers?
Oh, Randy, sorry, I didn't mean to shoot you. You faked me out. Double back. Son of a bitch. Go down. Clear. It was all fun and games until Ricky stopped running. Oh, see, he slows down at the end. He's like, oh, God.
And they like chose like the chubbiest guy
Yeah,
to
he
run back and forth. It's like,
Chose
is
the
that
chubby
his?
guy? He only ran back and forth 3 times. On the 4th one, he's like, God, I'm winded.
He's like, guys,
Fuck,
did you
you
use
guys
me?
almost got me.
No, we're good, right?
No bullets. Do I got any? Is there any blood coming out? I
Vicky,
can't feel my legs. That's what he was saying. You couldn't hear his mic wasn't very loud.
I'm like, when we saw this, I was like, all right, what the fuck? We actually need to like make this shit, like the stuff that we've been seeing the last couple days. I was like, we need to do a show on all this stuff. It's just crazy. We're gonna do a bingo card show, Steve. We're doing a bingo card. Like this is just.
It's like they're playing rock paper scissors, like getting their guns ready. Like, all right, well, you come on.
You didn't, yeah, like
Ponytail's like, I did it last time. You guys shot me in the calf. I'm not doing it again.
I was out. I happened to be out of work for 2 months.
Eddie's like, God, my bad knees. Did they draw straws? Just slow down, dumbass. Yeah, run faster. Got him.
Oh, Teresa, that's awful. My
Oh.
brother-in-law used to work at a gun range when he was young, cleaning out all the lead out at the end of the day. Now he has cancer everywhere at 50.
That sucks. That does suck.
And
Sorry
what
to hear
sucks
that.
also is that we do not have a healthcare system that's universal for
That's why it
everybody
sucks as bad as it does.
in the
Yes.
United States. You know, like if things would suck less, if there was like actual movement to actually have cures for things, to treat people, not treat people as, you know, as incremental as you possibly can to make them as sick as long as you possibly can.
And milk every dime.
Yeah, you know, if it wasn't that kind of system, but it was like an actual system where we had it, and people like needed healthcare. We had top-notch healthcare, and the goal was for people to not be on disability, and less people were on disability because they didn't have to be on disability because we had healthcare, and it was a great system. Imagine that. Imagine.
Oz says it's just like that thing from Monty Python, How to Defend from Attack by Banana. It's very similar, except for with live ammunition and dumb cops. Next week, strawberries.
It's just nuts. I mean, like,
it is delusional to think this country will change because,
yeah, we're at a weird point right now.
The most anybody ever suggest is you got to vote. Like, that's the best. That's your best plan, huh? We're gonna vote.
I mean, I hear
That'll fix it.
I hear there's a musical that we can go to see.
Oh, yeah.
We can all go see this musical.
At least there's some musicals, before the Lake of Fire really gets going.
It might not be your cup of tea. It's definitely not mine.
No, it could be. It could be your cup of tea. I don't know.
It's not mine.
It's not for me to say. But
I can say that it's not mine.
All right.
Because this is just not my kind of musical. I don't want to go see one called Bad Apples. The Abu Ghraib. I can't say.
Abu Ghraib
musical is a tale of soldiers
Ghraib.
Behaving badly. This is insane.
Soldiers behaving badly. Yeah, that's like.
Did you guys hear about this? This is in the Seattle Times, and this is from September 13th, 2016. So it's older, but like this is like absolutely insane.
Yeah, man.
I mean, how much do we have to suck as humans?
We have to suck a lot to think it's cute and funny to sing about this shit. Like that's just it's beyond. We're gonna shock, revulsion, shame, common reactions in 2004 to the newly revealed photographs of U.S. soldiers gleefully tormenting inmates at Baghdad's Abu Ghraib prison during the Iraq War. That's what it is.
Yep.
Lady Alex. It's like there was videos of them, you remember? And they were being really fucking gross to people, to prisoners that they had locked up and torturing them and just like doing really fucking like Joseph Mengele fucking gross ass shit on them. And now there's a musical about it.
I mean,
so isn't that's so fun?
I mean, it's been around for a little while. I didn't know about it. Like, I'm just like, wow. Like the horrors of like what we have done.
It's like war crimes, schmore crimes. Let's dance.
Yeah. All right. So we're not going to go too much into that, but it is like technically old news, but like it was new to me. And I was like, yeah, this just feels like this is the dystopian kind of shit that we're showing tonight. So, but I want you guys to be aware of this scam that's happening. Okay. I don't know if you guys are planning on going to any baseball games.
Yeah, it's very very much in the same kind of bad taste. Larry David's Curb Your Enthusiasm, Fatawa musical. He was being fucking funny. It's true. Sometimes it doesn't land. That's all. Sometimes it does, but like it makes you feel sick inside that you're giggling.
Yeah, we got bad apples. So I mean, like they say we got a few bad apples. Like we have bad apples. We have the cops at the range. We have them guys doing that. That was bad apples.
Book of morons. Yep. Joseph Smith was a.
Okay, so this is. Oh my gosh. We'll play it first and then we'll talk about it. This is the White Sox games.
You are watching a modern day version of highway robbery. The money. An organized team of thieves on motorized scooters swindling travelers in the middle of rush hour on the Dan Ryan Expressway. Fans who have had their cars blocked, kicked, or punched One woman reported to a traffic aide she was spit on when she refused to pay. Selling parking tickets they had no right to sell on streets around the ballpark, even using an official White Sox parking sign to lure in fans who often end up getting parking tickets. Then this new team of scammers on scooters started operating this season, and the White Sox asked us to come back to catch and stop them too. Now they're actually out on the highway.
Yeah.
They said $40. The guy up at the ramp right there.
They said $40?
He said it was $40.
You said no, right?
What else is there? Look.
Fans in this pickup truck shouted for police on foot patrol to help.
They're right there. They're right there.
Here's what we know about the operation. Before each game, the scammers assemble in a parking lot inside the Wentworth Gardens neighborhood. This man in the black hoodie appeared to be the leader, shouting out commands. The scooter crew operates freely, easily ripping off people.
Easily. That's a fucking,
So beware of the scooter mafia, guys.
look out
Like,
for the scooter cops, man.
no, they weren't cops. They were
No,
running
they-
a scam.
They were pretending. They were pretending they had tickets. They were scooter cops. They were
yelling for the cops.
I
The
know.
cops wouldn't come
I know.
because you know what they were doing? The cops were at the shooting range.
That's right. The cops had other plans at the shooting range. Somebody got hit by a bullet by accident. It was just a operator error.
I
Happened.
mean, like you got they really did. They really got people.
That's
I
right,
mean,
they're
it sucks that people got gotten. You know what I mean?
Everybody's
But
a
like the
hustler.
fact that they were like so organized,
Yeah, you got to give it to them. It's like
I was like, wow,
I don't know if any of you guys have ever.
that's
attended-
organized crime.
Yes, it's very organized. In fact, that's what I was thinking of when you brought that up yesterday. I was thinking the how organized the nitrous mafia is on jam band, large jam band events like bands like Widespread Panic and Fish and
Yeah.
Dead and Company.
Remember, we saw the Nitrous Mafia when we
String
were in New
Cheese,
York.
Billy Strings, all these different bands that tour nationally. When they show up in a town, these guys are so networked and they have like hundreds of nitrous tanks.
And you cannot if you have your own nitrous tank and you're trying to sell, no, that mafia is coming to tell you.
Oh, yeah, they will run you off and take your fucking tank. These guys are legit. They all got fucking pistols and they all
Remember
got
when we
fucking
were in New York
walkie-talkies?
and Lot,
The
right?
cops were like, "Oh, you
At
can't-
Dead
you
and
can't
Company,
have
the
that."
cops were just like on segways, like you need to go back farther in the lot. They're telling them to go back farther away from the stadium.
Yeah, in
And
Queens.
the cops are out there, in Queens with like AR-15s, like at a Dead and
Yeah,
Company show.
They were strapped out in front of that fucking base.
I was like, do you feel like a little intimidated right now? Like there's just like a line of cops with all these long guns
We walked by a dozen fucking cops with long guns,
to go into,
all standing together.
and we weren't even going in the show. We
They
were just
weren't-
like at the
It was
lot.
like they were holding a line in front of the fucking stadium, like as if somebody important
What were
was
they
coming
gonna-
to the show or something. That they were,
Yeah.
like they were locking down, like the fucking governor was coming or something. It was crazy. I was like, what the fuck is happening here? And we're kind of tripping and fucking, it was weird. And, but yeah, we walked around the other side of the parking lots and the cop was like, this kid comes up with his, on his fucking skateboard with a little fucking 3-foot tank and is like, yeah, fucking wheeling it. The cop's like, no, you got to take that back over there by the other ones over there back there. Like he didn't give a fuck that he was selling nitrous oxide on his skateboard, wheeling it around. He was doing it in the wrong place, obviously. And
this
that
was
that was a real crime.
2019 too.
Yeah, this was 2019, right? The last of the end times. It was the before time. Very last of the before times.
Yeah, it was. It totally was. Let me see if I can pull up
Good night, Lady Alex.
the
Thank you for hanging out with us. We love you.
picture, because this is where I found out that somebody made a meme about us.
Memes. We are memeing. Screaming memens. Even memeing.
I don't know who did it.
I don't know. We'll never know. The meme police come through to my head. Mean police. That was a Cheap Trick reference and a cheap trick trying to fool you people.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna pull it up.
All right.
All right. Oops. I'm gonna show you what I said I was gonna show it later on in the show, possibly, and I'm gonna do it.
Well,
now.
do it. Don't just threaten us.
I'm gonna show them.
Go on then.
Oops, why is it not? Let me add it to the stream. So this is pictures of us when we were at the Dead and Company show, and there's little Leo with his little muffs on, and here's Jeff Clemente behind us playing the keyboards and the pianos, and John Mayer is behind me, and Bob Weir is over here, and O'Teal is past this lady's hat. But we're like this is how many people were in front of us. We were right below the stage.
The other shot, does the other shot show the lady behind me who is like completely green?
I don't know.
There's a green lady behind me. That's all I'm going to say. It's very weird, and I noticed it before.
So this is
video I made.
This is the meme that someone made. I want to know who made this meme. And you can see right here in the right hand corner of the first part of the meme, it says nugs.tv, because this was on the big screen.
See, you can't see the lady's face, but she has yellowish blonde hair behind me, and her face, her face is fucking green, man. I'm not even kidding.
Okay, so anyway, somebody made this meme, and it says, when your friend drags you out, but you'd rather be home. Okay, and so they show us the crowd, and then they get closer, and then it's in like 2 screenshots, and then they circled me with Leo.
And
it was just the bestest meme that I've ever been like. Someone made this of us, and the lady behind Steve's right next to me.
You can kind of see, like by my ear right there, like her complexion of her skin is green.
Yeah,
that's green. I don't know if she was an alien or.
So this was somebody made this for us. And this is when Jeff Clemente noticed us, showed us to John Mayer and Bob Weir, and then John Mayer showed Bob Weir that we were there, like pointing us out in a crowd of like 100,000 people in the stadium. Yeah. So it was just a really cool. And then the next day, what we're talking about is when we were in New York, and we were at that next show. And that's when the cops were out with the long guns and shit.
The Mets, Mets Riverfront Stadium there.
See, you remember the details that I don't.
Yeah, that's where the Mets play baseball.
But yeah, it was a really, really fun show, and it was really funny to have this meme made about us. And I saw it on my Instagram today. And was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't think that lady was going to pass out. I think that green was just her natural color. I think she was just maybe part tree frog or something. I don't know.
And it was like, this was like at the beginning of the show. Like it was still like daylight out at this point. But yeah, it was really, really cool to have the guys playing.
Leo looks like he's giving a stink eye with the ear muffs on. He's like
his little muff.
He's like, fucking assholes, take me to goddamn Grateful Dead show.
He loved it. Oh my gosh, people were like taking my picture like nonstop. Like there must be a million pictures of me like that, because people just had their phones out. It was like a sea of people like parted. It was like
the paparazzi was following Leo. And the paparazzi just was each person as she got closer through the crowd.
I was like, how close do you want to get to the stage? Phone. You know, like because we ended up with VIP because they discriminated against the service animal. And so we ended up, we were supposed to be in the nosebleed section, but they discriminated against us. And I was like, I'm not going back through your lines now that you realize that you've broken the, law, and you're like, I'm not a person that that wants to that's sue happy, because I could have gone after them because they broke federal law. And so they let us in through this other side entrance, which I thought it was just like maybe for disabled people, but it was actually it was VIP entrance. Yeah. So we ended up getting VIP, and that's like the only reason. Like, I was like,
it was
really
just like that section, that front section right there,
yeah,
squared off where you could go in. So that was awesome. The Leo does look like he's giving us the stink eye, like he's pissed off at the usher or something. Like, I thought you said these were good seats.
I thought I had his muffs over here.
I don't think so. He Vicky Adams says why does Leo look like he's wearing a hat from like the British Palace Guards?
They're called muffs. I'm looking for I want to show him what I'm talking about, because otherwise it sounds weird what I'm saying. Ow.
I have no idea where muffs would be. Where to look.
I showed them before on camera.
Yeah, but I don't think
I
you
don't know
did
where
here.
I stuck them. Yeah, I don't know where I put them.
Who knows? We'll have to find him for the next rock and roll concert he attends.
Yeah. But they're actually made out of the same material that helicopter pilots wear, and they're like the same type of thing. So they protect his ear because their hearing is so much more sensitive than us. It protects their ears and their hearing.
Yep, they can give us that's the high butt stink eye. That's the little high butt stink eye.
But yeah, Leo goes in style when we go to shows and stuff.
Leo's like, I said no pictures, son of a bitch.
Yeah, that was just so much fun.
He's like, I'm talking to my lawyer on my Bluetooth. Fuck off.
He was perfectly happy. He was loving it because all the people wanted to say hi to him, and that makes him so happy. When people want to see him, he's happy. So
he's a daddy dog.
Yeah, we call him Leo Daddy Dog for a reason. He has a Grateful Dead collar and a leash. His leash is actually around my neck in that picture. You can see it. But that was a good little break there. Everyone was like, if John Mayer brings you backstage, you better bring me with you. It's like, no, I'm not going backstage with them. No. I'm like, I can die a happy woman. No, like I got to see, all the living members of the of the dead, like up close, within a week of each other. So that was really cool. All right. Oh yes. Oh gosh. We have this lovely gem. This lovely gem. You might recognize this gem.
Oh, goody.
Like, I really want to like rub the noggin. Yeah, I do.
I don't know what that means.
As it's shaped.
Kind
of pointy. Their head's kind of pointy.
Well,
it kind of goes to a point right there at the top.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that's the thing. I mean,
yeah.
Whatever.
Sam Brinton.
So this is a non-binary activist who was tapped by Joe Biden for a key nuclear role before being fired for stealing women's clothes. Was arrested Wednesday night as a fugitive from justice, the Daily Wire reported on Thursday.
Wow.
And this is
it really smacks of like a prettier, kinder, gentler J. Edgar Hoover vibe. I'm getting.
Yeah. And what is Sam steal? All right, we're gonna get into that.
Sam, you son of a.
The Daily Wire was told by a neighbor that 4 unmarked police showed up last night and they would not let his spouse Kevin leave.
No, Kevin.
After
Stay here, Kevin.
about an hour, Sam Brinton was escorted out in handcuffs. It was a plea deal for one of the luggage thefts last month, but the felon. Okay, so they accepted a plea deal for one of the luggage thefts last month, but the felony case in Minnesota is still ongoing. Brinton accused in February by female Tasmanian fashion designer based in Houston of wearing her custom designs that were packed in luggage she reported missing in 2018. The case was referred to the FBI by Houston police.
Kevin, I thought you said you bought these. You bastard.
Yeah, like, so this person was caught wearing the dresses from the fashion designer. There were custom dresses. Like, seriously? There's no off the rack thief.
So he's like, Jesus, I step away for a second and wham.
You come back to this. Look at that. Look at that.
Jane Curtin is definitely my favorite Conehead, but this one, no, Kevin. Sam, settle down. That's a really pretty, what is that? Is that a necklace? Is that part of it? I don't understand what's happening. That jewelry is just confusing to me. This red lipstick is very distracting. Those big old teeth. He got like kind of a Mark Wahlberg. If you took the Mark Wahlberg, squareness out of his face and just kind of made it all softer, he kind of looked like him. If you put bright red lipstick on him.
I mean,
shut up, Kevin.
What?
I was totally thinking of Dan Aykroyd lipstick.
This is just like, what the fuck?
I think it looks like somebody else. I can't quite picture it. His head is distracting me. Who is his face? Who is that? What is that face? It's like 7 of 9. No, that's what is the Borg is strong in this one. I can't quite put it together, but it's somebody. Is it Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day? What is happening with that guy's face? It's morphing into other people.
Listen.
I'm pretty sure it's Marky Mark. And yes, that's my final answer.
Okay. So
go start.
As many of you know.
Bukkake. I'm sorry. I had to say it. Shut up, Kevin.
So I feel like, there is something happening with like misogyny and, like men holding women's spaces and all of this. So we've talked about this on the show. And now Adidas, now we got to remember that, like, not long ago, Balenciaga, the whole Balenciaga thing that happened, that was with Adidas as well. That was an Adidas purse with a Balenciaga thing that happened with the children.
Can we pause just for a second to say Balenciaga Bukkake? Thank you.
Okay. So now Adidas is at it, guys. Look at what they did. Okay. This is a male model.
Wait, which one?
On the left.
Okay.
This is a male.
Thank
I'm not misgendering them.
I can tell that
they are a male that identifies as a male, as far as I know. So male models are wearing women's swimwear.
It looks like he has protective athletic supporter there. Is that?
Why do I want to look at a bathing suit that a male is wearing when a male doesn't have the curves of a woman?
Say that 10 times.
I don't need an added room in the front there because I don't have the junk. And he doesn't have any boobs.
You don't need an athletic supporter?
I don't need that.
But think of the support you're missing.
So I don't know. This is their Pride bathing suit. Okay. So it's like their Pride collection, whatever. And then like then they I guess they did put a woman in one. Two, but like, do you notice the stark difference here?
There's a little bit of a difference. I can't quite put my finger on it. He does. He's got good form in his pose. Excellent form. I think he's done this before. The other girl, I'm not sure. Maybe once. I mean, she seems confident.
It's just really not like a flattering
picture.
It's not flattering.
Ironically, they have the same breast size. It's weird.
Yeah.
How do they do that? But yet her wrists are as thick as his legs, so I'm not really sure what in the hell is going on in this picture. Are you sure there's not like a funhouse mirror between them or something? What is going on? Why do they do this shit? Like, okay, you're not supposed to make fun of people's bodies and stuff, but why is the man wearing the female garment in the first place? To demonstrate what exactly? That you can wear a bathing suit with an athletic supporter and be a fucking string bean posing funny on fucking magazines? I don't know.
I don't get what's happening, and I feel like are they trolling us at this point?
I think they're trolling us, and also the colors of these bathing suits they're pretty hideous. They're not.
Yeah, I don't think that
pretty.
they're great either.
That's not like. It looks like. I don't know what it looks like. It's not attractive. That's all I'm going to say about it. On either of them.
Why do they have men though doing this? They have men like being like this, like it's a sexier bathing suit that the man is in. Like I'm not understanding it at all. Like what their motive is behind it, why they would do this. It seems really odd to me. And why is there a male? Like that's not even like a transgender. It's not like they're a trans person that's in the bathing suit. Like that's just a male.
Just non-binary, right?
No, it's just a male.
Yeah, I see that. Okay. I don't understand it either.
It doesn't make sense to me. And I'm like, I don't understand like the marketing campaign of this. Like why they would do this? You know?
Obviously, to sell more ugly bathing suits.
And they're also doing it with bras. I'll pull that one up for you guys.
Because you guys need some bras after this bathing suit.
Why would a man need a sports bra?
Well, as a chubby guy, I think
No, it's the skinny guy with no chest. Why would he need a sports bra?
he doesn't need it. He just wants to be beautiful.
I'm not.
What don't you understand? He just wants to be beautiful, okay?
And you can see at the top it says home women's clothing.
Well, maybe he just wants to be a pretty girl. You know, it just isn't, and this is the closest it can become.
I don't understand.
I don't get it either. I don't understand why.
I mean, look at this. Look at the
Why?
bathing. Look, it's a sports bra for women. I mean, and it's a pride
Yeah,
thing.
just-
But
it's-
why do you have a male in the?
I don't know why. Is that like attractive for like do like dudes wear those, like gay dudes or whatever? Like people. who
Why
like
would
to
they
dress like
wear
that?
it?
I'm just saying, like, is that a fashion thing? Is that like a bathing suit top kind of fucking vibe? Like, you know what I mean?
No, it's a sports bra.
All right, it's a sports bra. I'm not a fan.
And I don't care about like
I'm, you know-
cross dressing and stuff like that. But it's like, it's really weird that you're going to advertise something that is supposed to be for a female and you're going to have a male wearing it and it's labeled as women's clothing. It's not unisex. It doesn't say like, you know what I mean, for anybody. It says for women,
Well,
and
it
then you have
should.
a
It should
male
say
wearing
for
it.
everybody. Then, if that's the fucking big problem, then say it's not a woman's garment. It's for everyone. It's unisex. Why is that a thing? Like you're drawing a line. Well, don't make a line. Just
make it unisex.
make
then.
it for everyone. If that's what it's. If it's for everyone, then it's for everyone. Who gives
But
a
it's
fucking
not.
rat's ass then? Well, they're not selling it in that way. Salty wants you to know that his moobs are free range. So don't try to put him in a sports bra, okay?
Listen, I don't even like putting my own boobs in a freaking sports bra or a bra, okay? Like it's not comfortable.
The poor man has rip shame, has nip shame. You know, maybe that's what he felt, a much prettier person wearing the weird, really tight tank top. Because that's really what the sports bra is just like a really tight, halterish tank top. The attack of the superfluous nipples.
But why does a male need to wear a sports bra to cover their, like, you know what I mean? A male can go topless. Even biological females who have, you know, their breasts cut off.
Yeah.
Go around topless. As long as you don't have boobs. But if you have man boobs, it's fine.
Yeah. Men are the only ones allowed.
Yeah.
If we ever start a rock band, Oz, the attack of the superfluous nipples is going to be our band name for sure. 100%.
Snork said, your company can be sued now if someone can say that your identity is not represented in ads now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that seems to be the natural progression of the fucking insanity we're living in. Yep, utter chaos. Everybody got to move out to the country.
Yeah, we have the chest feeders. That's what they're calling our birthing women.
Chest feeders.
Or birthers.
Chest feeder, I don't even know her.
It seems really absurd. It's all just like, you know.
Doesn't make a titty bit of sense, does it? Chest feeders.
Ugh.
Free the moobs. You're damn right, Salty.
I grab Steve's all the time, Salty.
She's got a nipple obsession. You just be sitting there and all of a sudden just grabbing your nipple.
Yep.
Without warning.
Yeah, without warning.
No, hey babe, I'm gonna grab your nipple right now. Which you're right, I might be more creepy, but it doesn't fail to surprise me or make me jump.
And I don't have a problem with like people cross-dressing. That's not a thing for me. Like I really could care less. If people want to cross-dress, I've helped friends of mine go shopping for stuff to cross-dress. I've helped them dress up and stuff to cross-dress. It's not a thing. I had an ex that would wear skirts. Like
we do need to get out to the country, Salty. God damn it. I need to be growing giant fucking Mendocino style fucking redwoods.
Oh, so okay, we'll talk about that.
Damn it.
We cannot get you, Steve, going down that because we will
I
not
will
come
go
back
down
out
the
of
hole.
that. We won't get through the rest of this craziness.
The whole fucking thing. California's emptying out anyway.
Well,
So
I
we
think
can
this
just,
is something that has ties to California. Look
Of
at
course.
that.
Look at that.
Oh,
How
my
ironic.
gosh.
What would be
California
what are the
officials investigating loss of a 30-ton shipment of explosive chemical.
Like a fire. Hello.
Like-
Call back.
Like, no big deal, right? Like, 30-ton shipment. And this is from May 16th. And this is KQED. Inform, inspire, involve. You're right. So, this is the Dino Noble plant near Cheyenne, Wyoming, where 60,000 pound shipment of ammonium nitrate originated. The Center for Land Use Interpretation. Okay. Oh. So some 60,000 pounds of ammonium nitrate, a chemical used for both fertilizer and a component in explosives, went missing as it was shipped by rail from Wyoming to California last month, prompting 4 separate investigations. Wait, did Walter White get involved? Is there something happening here?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. 60,000 pounds of ammonium nitrate. You know, we can make a lot of meth with that.
We don't know that.
I'm going to
We're
need
not
about
saying that.
87 train cars full of Sudafed.
We're not saying that.
I'm
Okay.
not saying that.
Do you want to read some?
I thought we were talking about Walter White.
You're going to read some.
All right.
I was at a rail car loaded.
Delicious. Wait a second. Rail car loaded. Where the fuck is that? It was found empty after it arrived. A rail car loaded with 30 tons of the chemical left Cheyenne, Wyoming on April 12th. The car was found to be empty after it arrived 2 weeks later at a rail stop in the Mojave Desert. I think I've seen that movie. According to a short incident report from the explosives firm that make the shipment, the company, Dyno Nobel, made the report May 10th to the Federal National Response Center, or NRC. The report also appeared last week in an NRC database of California incidents managed by the State Office of Emergency Services last Wednesday. Ammonium nitrate is commonly used as fertilizer. And it's also an ingredient in high explosives, dynamite, and was used in the homemade bomb detonated in 1995 attack on the Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City. Did I say that right? Murrah Federal Building. Let's not make fun of that. It was fucking horrible. Dyno Nobel says it believes the material transported in pellet form in a covered hopper car similar to those used to ship coal fell from the car on the way to a rail siding, a short track connecting with the main track. That's what a rail siding is.
Wait, it just dropped out one pebble at a time?
Yeah, it just fell out. You know, there was kind of a hole at the bottom, and it just sort of fell out from the bottom.
There should be a trail of explosives.
Yeah, there is.
Railway, like.
Ironically, the train didn't spark a giant explosion. Called Saltdale, about 30 miles down from the town of Mojave in eastern Kern County. The rail car was sealed when it left the Cheyenne facility, and the seals were still intact when it arrived in. I hope they asked the Scooby-Doo to fucking.
Did
check
it
that
really leave there with anything then?
I don't know. Let's ask Old Man Washington. The initial assessment is that the leak through the bottom gate on the rail car may have developed in transit. So it sprung a leak is what happened. It just
is this a solid thing?
It's a solid rail car as it's made out of steel and iron. You just one of those welded seams, it just gave way. It just popped out and all the stuff fell out the bottom, of course. Makes perfect sense. The initial assessment is that the leak through the bottom of the rail car may have developed in transit, the company said through a spokesperson. A Federal Railroad Administration representative, though, says the investigation points to one of the hopper cars not being properly closed. So apparently somebody forgot to close the door. And Dyno Nobel says the trip lasted 2 weeks and included multiple stops. So they, 2 weeks, a little fell out here, a little fell out there, The company says it had a limited control over the rail car at Union Pacific moved it through the country. It says that the rail car is being transported back to Wyoming for inspection. And it says it hopes to understand how the shipment was lost and will work to prevent something similar happening again. The Federal Railroad Administration, the California Public Utilities Commission, Union Pacific, and Dyno Nobel are investigating the incident, according to their representatives. Congress passed a law in 2007 to regulate the sale and transfer of ammonium nitrate to prevent its use in acts of terrorism. The Department of Homeland Security issued proposed regulations in 2011, up short of formally adopting them. In case they needed to, blow some shit, make it look like terrorists.
So I mean, like,
Yeah, it was the bottom hatch malfunction. Bobby forgot to shut the door. That's what happened. He left his lunch in there. It got stuck in the little mechanism that closes the door, and all the ammonium nitrate just fell out.
so it's just gone.
Just gone. Just all mixed up with the dirt and stuff. You don't want that now. It's all mixed up. I know they're pellets, but hey, maybe you could just follow the train from Wyoming and get a what do you call it? Like a sifter, like a colander. You could follow the train with a colander and colander all the sand that you encounter.
It just seems
Along
like
the way.
we're really like setting ourselves up here, or being set up here.
Yeah.
Mm.
Something's weird about it.
Something's not right.
It just doesn't
there's
seem...
just a lot of things that just aren't right. Like that's like kind of like what's on our bingo card tonight, right? It's just things just are not right.
Well,
We're out of whack. We're out of balance.
If you think about like how much that is, and if somebody did just gank it, right? What weird militia fucking crazy fucktards have this shit that you mix it with diesel oil and blow up mountains with it. It's fucking dangerous shit, right? It's also good fertilizer. So it's like, it pretty much took the place of fucking back guano,
Yeah, and
effective at growing
Wes
plants.
said has a good question. There's a Federal Railroad Administration. Why the hell are there railroad companies then?
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah,
Because it's a monopoly.
I mean, think about how the rails were built, right? Who were the rails built on the backs of? It's just everything is continued, and we think that like we're more free because we have we have laws that make women feel like we are, what I mean, like we have more rights and we have more this and we have more that, but they just restrict us digitally and other ways. They really have a stranglehold on us as people, and they give us the illusion of freedom. And that's part of it, is actually like the fact that we don't have workers co-ops like everywhere. Like we don't work together as a people. We have very individualistic little tribes, as opposed to actually having like tribes of people, like neighborhoods that work together. And what I mean, like we could all be beneficial if we all collectively pulled our resources, right? Like within our households, within our neighborhoods, within the towns that we live in, or villages, or like whatever community we live in, and going outwardly from there, we could all really benefit each other if we work together, right? But there's always somebody that's going to take advantage of it, and the people that are taking advantage of that are the corporations, are the government, and it is the people, the non-government agencies and the federal government, like doing their part. They work cooperatively with each other, but we don't do that enough as people.
Yeah, we used to ride trains as kids, and we would ride them and go to Jersey, because we had friends in Jersey that lived right by the train station. We literally just hop a fucking freight train and jump off.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know people that like
We used to do
rode
that
the rails back and
all
forth
the
across this country
Oh,
like
yeah.
a bunch of times. I know a bunch of rail kids.
Yep.
Yeah,
Me
like
too.
there's
I've
a
met-
whole culture around the rails that is like its own.
Yeah, hundreds of kids.
They have their own language, their own community, like their own songs.
The tribe. It's
Yeah.
fucking extended tribe. And it's huge. Just-
Yeah. I
there's
mean, we do
thousands of
have a
kids.
lot of tribal things within the country still in the
Yeah.
United States, but like we don't have that like local where you live community. Like I feel like if we could get people cooperatively together in smaller incidences, it could grow. But it's a lot, and it's like trusting people is a hard thing, like trusting people.
That's crazy. Also, they used to have like mountains of ammonium nitrate just sitting by the road to pasteurize the farms and stuff out in Australia. Yeah, it's like it's a thing like that. It's just everywhere, like all the time. There's a lot of explosive material circulating at any given time. And if you know about it, then you know about it. It's like there are exothermal things that can be mixed with nitrous oxide. Yeah, most of my friends just like to huff nitrous oxide. It's fun and wow. But I forgot what I was going to. Chicken poop and Fruit Loops makes gunpowder. Yeah. Okay.
Whoa.
Chemistry is funny like that.
Yeah. So yeah. So we'll have to keep an eye on maybe like what happens with this, if this pops back up, if I'm not really sure. There's a lot of like rabbit holes that we could go down, and a lot of like theories that we could talk about.
Yeah. There's a lot of theories and a lot of different things.
But we're not going to speculate all that right now.
We won't. We shan't.
Now we're gonna kind of come back. We're gonna like take a loop around. We went out to California. We're gonna come back to the East Coast now. And we're gonna talk about New York residents.
New York.
So they're talking about tracking how much meat you consume in New York.
Hey, you with the meat, put it down.
Like, what is this going to cause? It's going to cause a black market.
Step away from the meat, sir. Put those pork chops
So
down.
this is on the Defender, the Children's Health Defense News and Views. And this is from 5/16 of 23. New York to track residents' food purchases, a place caps on meat served by public institutions. So New York will begin tracking the carbon footprint of household food consumption by putting caps on how much red meat can be served in public institutions as part of a sweeping initiative to achieve 33% reduction in carbon emissions from food by 2030. Like, what the fuck? Like, how dystopian is that? Like, they're gonna I'm not even a meat eater. Like, it doesn't affect me. Like, we live in the state next door, and it probably won't have much of an impact on us. Maybe it will make it might make meat prices go up. It might make other things go. Who knows? I don't know. But like directly, it doesn't directly impact us because we are in New York. But it can have a ripple effect with us because we are in the state next door ourselves. And so New York will begin tracking the carbon footprint of household consumption and putting caps on how much red meat can be served in public institutions as part of a sweeping initiative to achieve 33% reduction in carbon emissions from food by 2030. Mayor Eric Adams and representatives from the Mayor's Office of Food Policy and Mayor's Office of Climate and Environmental Justice, announced the new programs last month at the Brooklyn Culinary Center run by NYC Health and Hospitals, the city's public healthcare system, just before Earth Day. At the event, the Mayor's Office of Climate and Environmental Justice shared a new chart to be included in the city's annual greenhouse gas inventory that publicly tracks the carbon footprint created by household food consumption. The Gothamist reported. Okay. The city already produced emissions data from energy use, transportation, and waste as part of the annual inventory, but the addition of household food consumption data as part of a partnership that London, and New York launched with American Express, C40 Cities, and Eco Data Lab. Commissioner, oh my gosh, from New York Department of Environmental Protection announced at the event. Okay. I want to know how do they measure greenhouse gas and stuff like that? Like, how do they figure out like that, cows farting and burping equals so much percentage? And like, how do they calculate that? Do you know?
I'm not sure. They take a base reading and then they extrapolate.
Oh no!
How
do you measure that?
You use a long algorithm to extrapolate the numbers. Extrapolations. You take my burger from my cold, dead hands.
So it says that food is the third biggest source of cities' emissions, right after buildings and transportation. But all food is not created equal. The vast majority of food that is contributing to our emissions crisis lies in meat and dairy products.
Meat and dairy. He added, it's easy to talk about emissions that's coming from buildings and how it impacts our environment. But we now have to talk about beef. And I don't know if people are ready for this conversation.
What?
So you're going to have to move over. Adam's a vegan who, according to a whistleblower, also eats fish. Credits his plant-based diet for his recovery from diabetes. He is the author of Healthy at Last, a plant-based approach to preventing and reversing diabetes, and diabetes, and other chronic illnesses. A vegan cookbook. Adam claims that changing New Yorkers' eating habits will have both climate and health benefits. He said, we already know that a plant-powered diet is better for your physical and mental health, and I am living proof of that. Twitch. And then, but the reality is that thanks to his new inventory, we're finding out it is better for the planet.
What? I mean, like, I kind of agree that it probably is better for the planet for more people to eat a plant-based, and it probably is, just because it does reduce like swelling and things like that in the body, like for a lot of people. It did for us, but we aren't vegan though. We are vegetarian. We still do eat fish on occasion.
We eat dairy. We eat eggs.
Yeah.
Peanut butter. Peanut butter.
Peanut butter
time.
That's not.
No.
That's a plant.
Okay.
That's good for.
I like peanut butter as animals. I make animals out of peanut butter.
But we try to limit how much we do use of those products.
I could never give it up, but right now I feel like Josh said, I could never give it up. But like, I didn't think I was going to be like, okay, fine, I just won't eat meat anymore. And, it'd be like, pfft. But ultimately, my body feels better. Like I used to get headaches. My muscles would fucking hurt and atrophy and do fucking weird shit. And like, I don't have any of those symptoms. Like I had arthritis so fucking bad. I still have arthritis, but it was like, I don't know, like, when you get a burn and if you get heat near it after, it burns twice as hot. Well, that's what my arthritis did while I was eating meat. And now it doesn't. Now it's just like a burn that's going away. It's not, you know what I mean? It's only as bad as it was, and that doesn't get any worse. Some days my hands hurt, because I'm, 50 something years old. And
but I mean, I think also it depends on what kind of meat that you're eating. If you are eating meat.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I was eating store-bought fucking garbage meat for fucking decades, and with no regard for any of the fucking chemicals I was putting in my body. drugs or otherwise, food, drugs, anything. Stopping and thinking about those things and stop consuming cigarettes and fucking just carcinogenic shit, eating fast food, all the things that that, maybe having a little bit now and then is probably not that big a fucking deal to anyone really in the long run, because all the other fucking carcinogenic things that surround you on a daily basis are probably going to just kill you as fast as anything else. So if you like hot dogs, have a fucking hot dog. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? It's not my thing, but ultimately it's not going to make the world stop for me if people fucking enjoy having a fucking barbecue and, whatever, and burning some meat. I understand it's a fucking ritual just as much as it is sustenance. So it's a spiritual sustenance to be had from it as well. And I'd be a hypocrite to say that I'm like, oh, you can't kill any animal to eat. No, I think all life has the same inherent value, and we should value every fucking bit of it. Right. And some of it needs to be food and needs to be sustenance for people. And that's just a fact. That's just the way it's always been. It's not going to change. My opinion about it isn't going to fucking affect some huge change and make everybody just have a watershed moment and go, oh, I shouldn't eat cows and chickens anymore because Steve said
everyone's going to make their own decisions based upon what's best for them. We're not here to tell anybody like you have to do what we did and that's what's going to work best for you. We don't know that. We're not expert. No.
Yeah. I want to share.
We just have different. This is just what happened with us. This is how we feel after stopping eating meat, after being meat eaters for our lives. So.
Yeah, there's so many things that still will keep you chubby. Just eating the diet that we do eat. It's just like, you know what I mean? It's not like we got all healthy and, run 12 miles a day now. It's like, I feel better. I'm still fucking pork chop. Whatever. My body doesn't hurt like it did before. And, I'm more apt to go fucking take a walk and not suffer for it later. Before it was like, I had to push myself. No wonder I stayed medicated all the fucking time. My body hurt. Now it's like my body doesn't hurt, it's like, okay, let's do some shit. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to put in the work. Let's go. Would I eat Bluey the lizard? Yes, but he's already ready to eat him. He bit me a few times. I said I would eat Bluey the lizard, but he's already ready to eat me. He bit me a few times, but damn, it would be a hot day in hell before I ate Bluey. Even though he had no qualms. But
I know, on that note.
So everybody,
do you love
lather up
and polystyrene foam? Move over, Twinkie. This may outlast you in the apocalyptic times. You can rely on old meat butter for your end times. Meat butter. Not to be confused with ham that comes in a can. The best hams don't come in a can, and you need a plan in the apocalyptic times. That's where meat butter shines. Try meat butter from the makers of Spam. Your dog will thank you. Or will they?
Meat butter. Meat butter is not for human consumption or animal consumption. Please do not, by any means, feed meat butter to anyone you know or ever will know. Meat butter is very harmful, toxic, and will cause death. Not responsible.
On that note. So yeah, in New York, they want to track you and they want to be all crazy on you. Oh, your meat footprint.
In Connecticut, you can eat all the stink bugs you want for free.
So the links for all this will be in the show notes. We'll put those up right after the show. But yeah, so this is what's coming. Now, what did Stork say before about I had the comment up, but then I put up meat butter.
Miguel commands the meat butter.
I know he does.
He summons it, and it just happens.
He said actually the data on the cows and carbon footprint was are wrong. The plants that the cows eat remove 8 tons of CO2 from the air every 4 months. The cows remove more CO2 than the methane they fart. See?
It's like you just need a person
Logic
who will apply basic common sense to a scenario and information, you know what I mean? And break it down for people to understand in simple terms, like Snork just said. Here it is. Here's the maths, everybody. It's not real complicated. See if you can follow it.
Yeah. Yeah. Really super simple.
Yeah, is Snorky on a work break? We got to have him on. Absolutely. That's what Vicky Adams said. Also, I agree. The No Grain, No Pain doc is right-wing texting I used to watch and learn about supplements.
Snork, you should text me and let me know when you want to come on.
But he's kind of whack. See, the only problem I have with, I know for a fact that if we stopped consuming grain and dairy, we'd be skinny minis in no time. We'd wither away because there would be nothing else to sustain. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, I know this for a fact that it is bread. Cheese bagels are my fucking...
Steve's weakness.
They are my bane of existence. They are my weakness. If you find an Asiago bagel and, you know, they're fresh, are you kidding me? What is better than that? With a little avocado and some tomato on there. Stuff. Oh, my freaking word. Top of the line stuff. Toast
well,
that shit up.
Talking about like
That
a
is some bougie,
checkout,
delicious.
I got a story about a self-checkout.
Oh, yeah.
I do.
I know. I love self-checkouts.
You're going to get people up in arms, Steve. You're going to get people so mad right now.
I love them. I love them more than the cashiers who look at me funny when I'm on this checkout line by myself.
Oh, man. So you're
It's probably because I'm having a conversation with the cash register, who is technically an inanimate object, but I usually ask how they're doing and how the weather is, where they are, and you know. And then the cashiers are over there like, he talking to the machine again. Look at him, he talking to the machine.
Yeah, they call me at home and they're like, "Can you please come get him?"
Come get him again. He's talking to the machine again.
So the self-checkout.
She said, "Put my organic bananas in the basket," and I was like, "I'm not ready yet." We got into it. You know?
Okay, so the self-checkout machine, after it was done arguing with Steve, asked him for something extra. So the self-checkout machines now ask for tips in the latest squeeze on customers.
She was like, "Put your organic bananas in the bag and give me $1, bitch."
And this is published May 15th, 2023, and this is from Fox 11. Consumers already contending with the squeeze of their bank accounts due to inflation are now facing more pressure as businesses introduce new tipping features at self-checkout machines. Companies including airports, bakeries, coffee shops, and sports stadiums have introduced the self-serve tipping option, where customers can leave tips including the typical 20%. Despite facing minimal to no interaction with an employee, according to a recent report by the Wall Street Journal. I mean, like, does a tip go to the employee, though? Like, does it go to the people that are working there that you're not interacting with? Does it just go to them? Where does it go?
I don't know. It goes to the great tip jar in the sky, I guess.
So
Jesus gets it.
Consumers.
If nobody claims it after, till Sunday, then goes in the donation.
Customers report feeling obligated to leave a tip as they question where and whom the extra money is actually going.
You only want the tip dollar?
Just a tip. But businesses are increasingly embracing the option to boost pay for workers outside of salaries, according to the Wall Street Journal. What? Okay, so William Michael Lynn, a consumer behavior and tip culture professor at Cornell University. What? That is a job?
Yeah, that's craziness. The machine should be literally tipping you. Like, you did a good job checking yourself out.
Yeah,
I know you don't work here, but here's $1.
You get 10% off or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So, a consumer behavior and tip culture professor at Cornell University Nolan School of Hotel Administration. Wow, that's a title. Told a newspaper that businesses are taking advantage of an opportunity, and who wouldn't want to get extra money at very little cost if you could? At the start of 2023, consumers were already feeling the frustration as unexpected companies were not only requesting tips, but some businesses were asking for up to 30%, according to the AP. Customers, including a Wall Street day trader and college students, shared their experiences with leaving tips at fast food restaurants with drive-through service and brand name coffee shops like Starbucks with Fox News Digital in January. Yeah, that was quite the sentence. Okay. I feel like if there is an automatic question to ask for tipping, there should be fine print stating where these tips go. Day traders told Sean McDonald told Fox.
Well, it goes into a fund, and
yeah, like where is it going to?
It goes directly to black.
It goes to BlackRock and Vanguard.
BlackRock and Vanguard it just siphons directly into their account. Because all money that you think you're making goes directly to them anyway. Any runoff just inherently runs down into their pit of fucking despair, full of money.
So they said it doesn't have to be huge,
Goes
but
to
it
the
should be in the writing on the screen saying these tips help out employees, or these tips go to all employees, which include management. It should be specified. Yeah, like maybe it goes to a local like mutual aid. That would be a cool tip.
I know where it goes. You know that guy that used to be on CNN and he'd be screaming, bye, bye, bye. He's like a Shark Tank guy. It's that. It goes directly into his account. He's figured it out. He's turned it directly into crypto and then immediately lost it afterwards. But somehow he insured it, so it's making money. I don't know how the system works. It's 10% for the big guy, exactly, right off the top. You know the thing. Well, that was a fun story. And you know what? If self-checkout things were like really cool and like, hey man, nice job bagging those eggs. You didn't even break any. Here's $1. I would be hanging out talking to them much more. You know what I mean? It's just more personable if they're going to give me money. Hey man, you gave me the wrong change back. And he's like, nah, don't worry about it. Or she's like, hey, take your organic bananas and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no, I don't know who gets the tips money.
Who programs those machines to talk anyway? That's what I want to know. Is because the lady definitely has like a really bourgeois kind of fucking tone in her voice. Like she's like, take your organic bananas. Like she really like seductively says it when she says it too. Ask Kyla, she'll tell you. It's kind of weird. We've commented on it a few times. Like that's the only product too. So I don't know, man. It's a little. I'm getting like kind of like a sexual vibe from it. I don't know.
The bananas are they're subliminally talking to you through the bananas, Steve.
Oz there at Ground Zero programming these machines to talk, so we can talk to him directly about why does she have such a condescending tone when she's telling him to take my bananas. Damn it.
Yeah, Snork, if you want, just let me know whenever is good. And Oz, you're still on Discord, right? So I can set it up. Let me know whenever it works for you.
What the fuck? God damn. Let's see. I gotta go back in the chat here because people say some funny shit and you'll miss it if you don't read it. It's all a scam now. Yep. Hologram for pot US24. I don't know what that means, but Co-Star says he's a big tipper.
You're a big tipper?
Just the tip, Co-Star.
Just the tip? Oh,
Salty
God.
says Coke and hookers won't buy themselves. You said it, man.
Oh, my God.
Why condescend about bananas? Oh, if you don't have bananas and Coca-Cola in your store, no one will come in. One. You have to have Coke and bananas. I thought it was bananas and below from that song. No? I don't remember. It's all blurred together. Many delivery drivers in the U.S. work for tips only and can work all night and get no pay and pay their own gas. I know that. I've seen that story. I have a friend on the Twitter who is like a fellow fish head freak who loves the fish and the jam music and stuff. And he drives what is it, like the fuck is the driving thing? The Uber Eats. Yeah. He does that and he gets fucking ripped off all the fucking time, but it's like the only gig he can fucking like do with his school and whatever he's doing at the same time. Yeah, and people trying to burn you. Like oh, you did. I watched the video. We watched the video of that yesterday. Remember? Fucking dude at the door brought the lady the food, and the lady's like, "You didn't bring me no food," but she's drinking the fucking soda that came with the meal, saying, "You didn't bring me no food. Nobody delivered me no food." And the guy went back to the door because as he left, she's writing a thing to get her money back and putting in a fucking dispute. And he's like, "No, I just gave you your food. What are you talking about?" And he confronts the woman. And the woman's like standing there in the door with the fucking drink in her hand saying, "I ain't getting no food." And the guy's like, "Are you serious right now? Like, can't you just like remove that thing?" Like, I'm asking. This is how I support my kids and my wife, and like, you know, I do this for money, and like, you're gonna get me in trouble when you know damn well that I just brought you the food. You're literally standing there drinking the soda that came with the meal, like undeniable. You know what I mean? She's like,
"That's
nah."
insane.
She's like, "Nah." She stood there for like a couple minutes, and she shut the door and said, "You didn't bring me no food." Boom.
Wow.
Losers.
Yeah, I've seen a lot about like what's going on with the delivery workers that work for the tips, and then like sometimes they're getting stiffed, like, you know what I mean, there's not even a guaranteed tip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really really messed up.
That's what my friend on there was demonstrating, was that same kind of thing happens to him and has happened to him, and like jeopardized his job and shit because people are just assholes. They're like, you give them their food in a timely fashion, and you know what I mean, the best delivery fucking thing that you could do for someone, and then they're like, "Oh, I didn't get my food." And like, what? If you don't record yourself fucking bringing the food to them?
Yeah, a lot of people do that now
a lot
too.
of people do it now because they have to.
Completely document everything.
Yep. Because ultimately, if you're not smart enough to record yourself bringing that person the food, then you're leaving yourself open to get fucking fucked over by them. That's crazy. That's not hospitality. That's not hospitality. That's the opposite. What's the opposite of hospitality?
Yeah, that's a nice bank. Your bank sends you money
in the hospitality. They send you $5 to $50. What is that?
What?
Can I get that bank? How does that work? Do you have to have $8 million in there?
Probably.
You have to maintain a certain amount of money for them to send you.
You have to live in that area, northeastern Iowa.
I know local, certain local credit unions and stuff do that. My Aunt Peggy used to get a check in the mail when we were little. When I was a little kid in the 70s, I remember this. Her getting a check from her bank every week because it was a co-op that she was part of. And they would mail her a check, and it was like sometimes it was fucking $20, other times it was just like $3, other times it was like $200. But I remember seeing those checks because she would get them and she would just stick them to the fucking refrigerator, and she'd get a bunch of them, and then she'd go cash them. And like that was like fucking around money. Like I remember that. Like she would take us to the beach and go get ice cream and shit like that. Whenever she took all the pile of checks to the fucking thing and got all the kids in the car, because she'd watch us. And she'd fucking take us to Burger King or whatever and fucking ice cream and the beach with her fucking around money. And that's just smart as fuck. That bank went under. I remember it was part of the, do you remember the Old Stone banks? They had Old Stone Bank in Rhode Island and it went under. And it was,
I was little like
Flintstones as their guys, their mascots. Like literally had the Flintstones as and it was an Old Stone bag. So it was, I don't know. I always thought that was cool. And they had like Flintstone music. When you're
oh my gosh. So somebody did this awful thing in Orlando. Okay. They did, it's a digital traffic sign. I guess they were pretty easy to hack. But this is like the dystopia that we're in. This is the level of where we're at, you know. Where people are just hateful and just angry. So a digital traffic sign in Orlando displayed anti-gay hate message. It said, you know, unalive all gays. Can't say the real word on YouTube. That's messed up.
Yeah, it's very fucking messed up.
Especially because, like, in Orlando, they're pushing back against all of the stuff that's happening down there with DeSantis.
Yeah, it's pretty whacked.
I feel like on either end of the spectrum, we're like seeing either end of the spectrum. We're seeing like the far, you know, right conservative. We're seeing like really hateful rhetoric about things, and it's going like too far. And then on the far left extreme, we're seeing the far opposite of it. And it's like we need balance. We need balance again.
Yep. Yeah, they've eliminated those banks around here mostly for the most part. There's still credit unions.
Yeah, we use a credit union. Well,
we still use credit
we have a credit union account.
Yep. But ultimately they try to fucking eliminate that shit. They don't want people, they want banks fucking giving their customers back money.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
So this is the Orlando Police Department is investigating the anti-gay hate message that was displayed on a digital traffic sign early Wednesday morning. Yeah. So, yeah, they're like, you know, if you know what happened, call us. But it's just like, it feels like we're just like,
it's just spinning faster and faster and more and more, fucking more and more, constantly mutating. And like, if you're stuck, if you're one of the people that like still watches the news and reads newspaper or magazines or whatever,
they're probably not here.
Listens to the radio. No, but I'm just speaking in general terms. Like people who are still like in that like vortex of fucking fear. There's just never ending story of fucked up shit that you can feed them. And that's what we're getting. That's what this bingo card episode is about. It's just this nonsense, constant barrage of fucked up, immoral, irrational, fucking irresponsible cops walking in front of other cops, shooting their guns. I mean, just like stupidity is just rampant. It's not slowing down. It's getting faster.
Yeah.
And faster.
It's like, it doesn't matter where you are. It is just and mostly concentrating, you know what I mean, in the US. So now this next story that we have that we're going to be talking about is about a US trans activist and why they're suing Japan.
Yeah.
So this is an American trans activist, and they're suing the Japanese government to recognize their self-declared gender identity and their lesbian marriage. Now this gets a little bit complicated. So this is from May 13th of 2023. So the picture up here is Ellen McCready. Is it McCready? I think that's what it says. We're going to sue the Japanese government to recognize my gender transition and our marriage. Crowdfunding is live, and then they have like a link to their GoFundMe. So, an American man who identifies as a transgender lesbian is seeking to have his marriage recognized as one of the first lesbian marriages in Japan, where same-sex marriages have not yet been legalized. So, Lynn McCready, 49, whose birth name is Eric, also has a history which involves harassing the owner of lesbian club for denying him admission into a women only event. So this is a little bit complicated. So it was a male and a female that got married, and in Japan they recognize marriage between a male and a female. But then this person says, I'm transgender, and now I want your country that doesn't recognize gay marriage to recognize me as a female and recognize my marriage now as the first same-sex marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's really a complex issue there. Not only are you asking for them to recognize your gender, which, you know, it depends on the country. Like, not everyone is as accepting and understanding and open about it as, you know, a little bit too open for what from what I see in the United States, a little bit too free and flowing with it. And what do I mean by that? I mean that there is a difference between just someone who can self-ID and somebody who goes through the diagnosis process that is typical of what a transsexual person has always had to go through. There's gender affirming care that's happening really quick, and it's affirming care. There's no questions asked. The questions that are asked are just to affirm and not to actually get to the bottom, the root cause of what's happening. So, you know, we talk about the trans issues quite a bit. And I have trans friends. So it's not a matter of being transphobic. We are not scared of anybody. But we are just not for the transitioning of children in the way that it's happening. But this is adult.
Yeah.
So this is in 2021, while living as a resident of Japan, McCready and his spouse, Midori Morata, filed a lawsuit against the Japanese government, arguing that the refusal to acknowledge his marriage as a lesbian union was unconstitutional. Japan does not currently have self-identification politics and requires males who identify as transgender to have gone through genitalia surgeries and hormone treatment prior to being reclassified as the opposite sex on legal documents. Okay, so that makes sense. That there's, you know, like they have a requirement. That's their government. But this person is a U.S. citizen, and U.S. citizens seem to have a completely like
presumptuous fucking attitude. Like some other country's gonna fucking deal with the U.S. law? Like, what are you fucking talking about, dude? The fuck are you talking about? How could you
Yeah.
expect that from another country?
A country that doesn't necessarily have like the values are different in other countries.
It's a totally
and
different country, literally
like,
and figuratively. It's
yeah,
different
you don't
space.
really get to like just
Called arrogance. Yes.
yeah. So this person says they're going to sue the Japanese government. I mean, like, and then you want, and you're going to take it away from maybe a same-sex couple that actually is from that country. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're an American living there. So, like, you're going to go to somewhere else and you want to be the first person that gets this privilege too. It seems like you're really stepping on, like, you know what I mean, a country's toes here.
Yeah, hubris is the mother of arrogance. That is very true. I think that entire thing is just 100% fucking arrogant. And Snork's like, I bet that will roughly translate to Baka Gaijin, which means leave Japan, if I didn't butcher it. Yipper. When I saw butt, I thought about Pete. But then I saw a plug, and I was like, what is this about? Backing away.
What?
Shit.
Are you talking about the bingo card thing? Is it on the bingo card? Yeah, like it just this seems like, you know, it just seems like something that, you know, is very typical of somebody from the United States. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
It really does. It really showcases that what's kind of happening also that I'm noticing with the you know, a lot, not everybody, because I don't believe in blanket statements, but a lot of what's happening with the trans rights activists and the, you know, the people in the trans movement that are self-identified trans and not transsexuals that have been, like, you know, gone through actual medical diagnoses and years of therapy, because that's what it used to be. It used to be that, you know, because it is a mental health disorder.
Yeah.
You know, because if it was, you know what I mean, if it wasn't like, no, like if you feel like your body doesn't, you're the wrong gender, then that is part of mental health. And that's not being addressed. It's being addressed surgically, and in this way where people just get to kind of go in and say, well, I'm this, so you need to accommodate me, and that's just it.
I wouldn't be surprised if Japan was like, okay, bish, you're getting fucking cane treatment, motherfucker, and then you just beat your ass, because fuck you and your stupid American fucking presumptuousness and arrogance and your fucking hubris, thinking you're this thing that you declare, like,
but also they don't even recognize gay marriage there. Like, none of the citizens get that.
It's traditional, old school.
And I'm not saying that's right. I think that people should be able to marry people. Absolutely. But
I think that's silly.
I can't take our values and apply them to an entire country.
Right, because it's not your fucking country.
It's not. I don't feel that that's right.
That is the point. Respect my country.
I wouldn't go in my neighbor's house and tell them, you know what I mean, like, you need to do this way, and just because I'm telling you so.
Just kill you. They just kill you. You know, you go to Philippines and start talking about this is what I'm doing. They'll fucking kill you, bro. They don't give a fuck. There's other countries that the value of human life is so low in certain places that you're not going to make a stand and make a big fucking fuss about everything, especially if you're, you know, seen as something that doesn't quite fit in and that people are not sure of to begin with. And then how are you going to demand anything from anyone? Like, people just, like, that's half the problem I have with this entire movement is they're demanding that we be okay with children making these fucking horrendous choices with the rest of their lives at ages that are inappropriate, or or that we're angry about the fact that they're inviting children into these adult activities, somehow like justifying it, like it's okay that children are participating in adult activities and we're just a bunch of fucking transphobic people and hypocrites because we don't like people in drag. That's not the fucking case at all. It's completely stupid.
no, this doesn't have
these things though, you know what I mean? It just keeps going in a
you can
circle.
like drag and not like drag that's exposing children to
You can
drag.
express and articulate
You can say that something is an adult entertainment, and it's an adult entertainment across the board, and that's it. Like, that's just all there is to it. It's adult entertainment, because adult things happen, things that are not appropriate for children happen around, certain types of things that we do in society. And like, that's not the same thing as cross-dressing. You know what I mean? It's not a cross-dresser, like, and why do people in drag want to be entertaining children? Like, that doesn't seem right. Okay. But back to this article. So in 2018, while in the United States, McCready changed his sex marker on his identification to state female. Okay, so due to the differing laws regarding identification, altercations, and same-sex marriages, this has resulted in his wife being designated as a family relative instead of a spouse over in Japan. I'm guessing that's what they mean by that.
Right.
So I can't completely understand why a family like ours, which is different from opposite sex couples, can't be recognized as a family. I'd like to know why the government refuses to accept us, he told the Japan Times. That's not you changed, you know what I mean? Had they just left the marker the way that it was, you know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't have changed that. But that's a result of wanting your cake and eating it too, and going to another country and saying, oh, I'm gonna have my way. Like, no, like that doesn't always work. So I can't completely understand why. Okay, no, I said that already. In addition to demanding he be recorded as being a same-sex marriage, McCready is seeking financial compensation of 2.2 million yen, which is 19,920 in damages. If the legal challenge is successful, McCready and his wife will potentially be one of the first ever official recognized lesbian marriages in Japan. Disturbingly, McCready has had a troubling track record of harassing lesbian women. In April 2019, he attempted to attend a women-only event at Tokyo's longest-running lesbian bar, the Goldfinger, but was denied entry by staff members due to being male. McCready took to Twitter to denounce the club and its employees as transphobic, despite Goldfinger hosting only one woman-only event per month. Let me also call out Chika by name, the owner of Goldfinger, maybe the main Tokyo lesbian venue, as a bad actor, McCready wrote, referring to the bar's owner. Really? So a few weeks later, McCready again attempted to drum up outrage over his exclusion from a female-only club night by publicly posting a statement he had made written. Okay, let me see. And they replied, I had to laugh. Did you even see me standing there? I felt humiliated. I felt like a zoo animal. People were coming out and staring at me. I felt so judged and rejected. It hurt so much. I was fighting back tears, McCready wrote. Oh my gosh. So the governments of the world think of me as a woman. My documents say female, and that meant a battle with the Japanese government to save my marriage, which is now a same-sex marriage according to the law. I'm fighting with the government as a woman to save my marriage to another woman. The fight is for you and everyone else at Goldfinger, but I can't come inside. Why do you say women only? Why don't you say cis women only? Oh my God. I'm not a cis woman. I'm a biological woman, which means I'm a woman. Like, I don't need an extra label on me. I don't know what these extra labels McCready's post set off a flurry of criticisms from online trans activists, which some calling the bar Goldfinger to be excluded from future Tokyo Pride events. Stonewall Japan Vice President Jessica Gordon asked supporters to boycott the bar completely and authored a blog post slandering them and calling them transphobic pieces of human trash. So they added to the poster, they put cisgender females like only in the bottom of this poster.
Where did the cis thing come from? Like, how did that become a gender option? Where do you find the gender explanation things for each one of those fucking what are they, anagrams?
Well, cis is the way that they word it is the gender you were assigned at birth, because they say that gender you can go back and forth, but then they say that you have to have the surgeries to transition with it. So I don't.
So it's what? It's what does it stand for?
It means that you the what you were assigned at birth. So like I was assigned female at birth, and that I am a I was born in the right gender, and I follow along with the female roles. So it's very stereotype of what a woman is and what a man is and what the feminine roles are and what the masculine roles are. And I actually am not cis because I don't fit into those gender roles in that way.
That
it brings us back in time. It brings us back in time where it's very much like women wear dresses and, you know, like the men wear the pants, and you know what I mean? Like those, the pink and the blue, and it brings us, it's regressive. It's not a progressive thing.
That's weird how that is, right? It's supposed to be, this thing is like a progressive thing, right? Supposedly on its face, it's a transhuman. You're changing, you're transitioning, right? So that's a fucking like supposedly a forward thing, and yet the terminology is completely divisive and completely fucking segregational.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that work? Like, who the fuck thought this shit out? Because that's backwards as hell on its face.
It's really hard to kind of keep
cis,
up
are you a cis?
And understand it.
Cis, are you a cis?
And then
cis?
And then there's hate towards people who are cisgender, like you're a cisgender. And I know I listen to a lot of different points of view on the transgender ideology and all of this information because I'm trying to understand it.
Systemic racism, childism, systemic cisism. I'm living in a cisism environment. I'd say cisism.
But like
without a list,
like a tomboy or whatever wouldn't be a cis like a cis female or a cis, you know what I mean? Like you wouldn't be that because you aren't staying within those stereotypical roles of being the gender that you were assigned at birth.
Now, is there like a Webster's dictionary for gay people or transsexual people that have the definitions and the things? So we could like break it down for people. So, because it's confusing.
No, there's like, they have.
Is there a database?
No, they have come up with like, I think it's like 96 different genders.
96 genders. Hell, and I thought there were only 2, maybe 3. That's crazy. 96. I was way off.
Yeah.
I'm a cisist. Cisism. I'm a victim of cisism.
I mean, there's non-binary people. There's people that are saying they're fae.
Fae,
or there's
you mean gay, right?
No, like fae, like fairy folk,
fairy,
or moons,
but isn't you,
or
someone we used to call someone who was gay fairy, right? So like
not the same,
the same, an actual fairy that like lives in the woods and has Tinkerbell dust,
yes,
magic pixies and stuff.
Yes.
Whoa, I didn't even know that was a choice. I would have chose that. That would have been my sexuality.
They came up with
Damn
it
it.
all. No, I'm dead serious. And if you are on TikTok and look into any of this, you could go down a rabbit hole, and I don't know that you want to go down that rabbit.
Speaking of rabbit holes, if you need to cheer up, Snork says, I just posted an article on elevator etiquette in Steve Cutler's server on Discord.
Nice.
Excellent. I'll be studying that later. It's never too late. Thank you, Miguel. I want you all to call me Faye. I don't know.
Yeah, so
Faye, really? It just sounds funny. It sounds like the neighbor on Bewitched.
I don't
I'm going
understand.
over Faye's house.
Okay, so I don't understand how
Bobby's mom, Faye.
prepubescent children can also decide that they don't want to be what they don't know what it is to be that. Isn't
Rabbit hose. That's an entirely different episode, Snowy. We wasn't talking about rabbit hose. We're talking about Rapaho. No, that's an Indian. Wait a minute. Shit. I'm confused now.
So yeah, it feels like, this person is really trying to impose, the United States values onto an entire country and be the first in that country as well. And it just like the men and the women do. It's the same thing. It's like I feel like there's a lot of misogyny happening. There's a lot of misogyny coming out of the trans movement, and it's getting alarming at this point. It's getting really alarming.
I don't know.
It's also sterilizing children.
If Idaho's count. I don't know who's.
Okay, see it.
What I was answering. Where are we here?
I
don't like this article. What the fuck is a perf?
What?
Is that a perf? Does that say perf or turf? Turf?
Turf.
I thought you said perf. I thought I read perf.
I didn't say
You didn't say it at all. I read it.
Yeah, that's what they will often use that term. It's called, they say it's a turf, which is a slur. And it's an acronym which stands for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist. So they call a lot of women TERFs if you don't agree with a gender ideology. And so that's their like, oh, you don't agree with me, I'm going to call you homophobic and a TERF. And that's what they do. And it's really, it's really disheartening because people don't get to have a conversation about what's really happening. And it's just pushing hate and that's never what it was to be as part of like the rainbow family, to be part of the rainbow community, as in the LGBT, or even before it became LGBT or LGB before it was with the T, and when that got included. And it's different than it was. The trans movement is growing. It's very small right now, but that small amount of people is affecting a large amount of the population. And so it's alarming.
It's alarming. Hey.
And I don't think there's enough people talking about it.
Definitely not.
And sometimes I listen to the stuff about the trans issues, and Steve's like, oh my gosh, like what? Like he just has to tune it out because it becomes.
Yeah, I can't.
It's become so much.
I'll have music in my headphones blocking out whatever she's listening to, because it's just like it's a lot, man. Listen to these people talking about just fucking.
The 68% of the surgeries that they have is how like that's how many like complications there is. It's like
really
68%. There's a lot of medical complications that's
so many
happening.
trauma and complications and medical fucking things that happen. Like, oh, I remember when I had this. Well, that went, and it went terribly wrong, and just like over and over. She's listening to this stuff constantly, like trying to fucking sort out fucking reality from fucking crazy people. And at the same time, I watched TikTok videos the other day, and there are people live streaming, like just saying the most insane things as if they are factual. And I'm like countering in the chat, and people are like, "Oh, you're fucking transphobic, blah blah blah." Like, no, I'm being rational. I'm just being common sense, saying things. Biology. Things are biology based. It's a biological fact that, you know what I mean? The amount of people that have both reproductive organs are really small.
Yeah.
And it is a fact that happens. So, okay.
And we had
I'm
a
on board
conversation with.
But you cannot change from being a female to being a male. And you cannot change from being a male to being a female. They have not got the tech yet. It's not in place.
No, because
they make you a Frankenstein.
If you look at your bones, if you look at the bones of somebody that, you know what I mean? Like, as we think about it, like we archaeologists and stuff, they determine whether it's a male or a female based upon their bones.
Yeah, there is a definite
because
agenda.
we have different, like the way that our bones are, and we're different. And that's why it's also not fair for the in the sports, because these people, and we have friends who are trans, and or they're transsexual, and there's a difference between that and the self-identification of just declaring yourself as trans. And now, say somebody that is transgender 100 years from now, their bones are discovered. They're not going to look at them and say, "Oh, well, they were a non-binary person, or they were this, or they were that," because their bones are going to tell the story. And their DNA can tell the story. But all that other stuff, that doesn't tell the story. How they feel about themselves isn't part of the story.
It's
the story will be the biology that's left behind.
Exactly. It's just the same as it is here, in real time. People are just like being taught and being led down this road and being groomed for this thing. It's literally a fucking movement and an agenda and a fucking psyop all rolled into one. It's a thing that is happening in real time. And if you think it's not real, just look at the numbers of them that is public knowledge in the Washington, D.C. area.
Listen
at
to some people that have detransitioned.
Yeah.
Of all ages. And people that have gone through it from different points of view.
It's not anyone's business. That's the point. And these people are glamorizing it, and influencers are pushing it and grooming people for it. The fact is, they're making a public spectacle out of it. And then when people find out, oh, I made the wrong choice, because they were kind of corralled,
completely alienated.
They're not supported at all.
And they're not given the medical treatment to reverse things either.
It's horrible.
If they have complications, they're not getting help. They're not getting help. Like,
that's why,
they're just like out. They're just out there, and like, then they like, because like in California, they have law like where the insurance has to cover the gender affirming care. Now, if that person decides like, oh my gosh, no, this wasn't right, or they have like complications and things, it's not always covered. So people are like, being like put in limbo, or there's not a whole care package for people.
And that's
and
why
I see people getting hurt.
And that's why it matters, because people are getting fucking hurt and run over, and that's not okay. And the only people who are going to help them is us. We have to help each other. That's the fucking point.
Yeah.
And that's why we're
It's
talking
about caring for people. It's not about
judging anyone for fucking being a certain way. We
No.
don't give a fuck about that.
No.
We give a fuck if people are being led astray and being like
If people are being
coaxed into this,
manipulated.
and they're just being fast tracked. And I've listened to it 100 times now. Like, I'm
Yeah,
not
if
just
you-
saying this off the top of my head. I think it's important enough to be talking about, because we need to help these people, and we need to fucking, provide support to anyone who's fucking, going through this. Be supportive in any way that you can, but don't just be like, well, it's not my business. I don't want any part of it, because who else is going to be there if they do have a problem, which they're most likely gonna, because that's the fucking nature of this thing. People have been in treatment for fucking 30 years. They're still in fucking treatment, and they've gone through hell. So, listening to people talk about these things is very important. We need to fucking shine a light on it. It's really sad.
We don't want more people that are going to be, like there's a suicide rate that happens for people that do go through it. And they're finding that it's about 7 to 10 years, afterwards. And then there's people that have had the surgeries. I know I was just talking to somebody, I was listening in a Spaces, and I talked with them, afterwards, but they're in Canada, and because of the complications of transitioning, like a long time ago, I don't remember if it was 10 or 14 years, something like that. It's been like over a decade, right? Like, it's not a new thing. They can't get the care, so they've signed up for MAID. They're gonna go with MAID because they can't get the help that they need now. After all this time has happened, after all this time has gone by, and it's heartbreaking, because that person just really has is like a shining light, and you can see that, but they're just in too much pain now.
Yeah, don't worry, Drew. The WHO has already come up with the paper. Your child can decide for himself when they're 4 years old.
Yeah, they
So
want
don't sweat it.
They
You
want
don't have
children at 4 years old to be able to
Don't sweat it.
0 to 4 years old.
It's
We
cool.
covered that at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, it's all
0 to
good.
4 years old. That they think that they should be taught
it
about
is.
sexual things.
The pussification. But it's really sad, because think about the pussy for a second, Salty. Hear me out. The pussy is a strong thing.
Well, not if it's on hormones.
Not
then
if it's
it
on hormones.
completely.
But if it's I'm talking about natural, straight up female, high end
resilient
vagina. Is
resilient.
like
That's
a
what a vagina
superhero
is.
fucking stuff is going on. They make fucking babies in there, bro. You know what I'm saying? That shit is fucking
And bounces
magic.
back.
That is manifestation. You are manifestating life and bringing it unto the fucking terra firma. You know what I'm saying? Right? So that pussification is inaccurate, because while it does mean it's the fucking weakening of everything, it's really the wrong.
It's used in
It's
the wrong
vessel.
way.
It's used in the wrong connotation. Don't be harsh on my pussy, man. You know what I'm saying?
But if you give if you give cross-X hormones, right, you have to give them in a higher dose. So if you're a female that is transitioning to male, you get testosterone, but you don't just get like a normal amount, because you have to overcome the natural hormones that are in the body. You are given like 3-4 times the amount, like, so it's a really, really crazy amount, and it causes it causes physical issues for the female body, for the vagina. Like there's like a lot of medical complications that happen, and sometimes there's, you know, it becomes very thin, and it can just the hormones. This is without like even having surgery. Like you can have bleeding, you can have all kinds of issues that are happening. So like that's not being really discussed either. And it's not being talked about. And that's really dangerous because people are not getting informed consent as to what's happening. And that's what I'm hearing over and over and over again, as I'm hearing like testimony from people, from detransitioners, from people who have transitioned, like the comparison to how they used to do things and how they're doing things now, completely different. And I also know this because I went through it with a friend of mine. Like I'm talking 15 years ago, transsexual friend who actually had to go through years of counseling, had to, you know what I mean, get the gender diagnosis and all of these steps. It wasn't go to Planned Parenthood and walk out with, you know, hormones for the opposite gender. Like that's what's happening right now. Kids are going to Planned Parenthood. And I just feel like, whoa, we need to like just put the brakes on this. Why is there so much happening? We need to listen to people who are detransitioning. And we need to think about the whole, you know, the whole body and everything. And people need to really have care. I don't feel like people are getting care. I feel like they're getting this like fast track of like medicalization, and the amount of money that they can make. Oh my, it's astronomical. We covered this in a previous episode. Like we really went into detail, and it's like you're talking $1 million, like just with like hormones, without like surgeries, without complications, without anything else.
I can't believe Oz didn't get my my quarter-inch joke. He's like, I bought a patch bay once. I'm like, was it a quarter-inch? Never mind.
And you know the other countries that were
didn't
doing
translate
this,
the metric system.
like in Sweden, they shut things down. So
sleep well, drizzles.
So they were doing care the way that we are in the United States, but they have since said no, like we have to stop, like so. Yeah, well, I think that's something to pay attention to. When other countries were ahead of us on it, and then they're like, oh, whoa, we're putting the brakes completely on this. You know, like that's it.
6.5. Now he's bragging. I know, Miguel. I should have used the metric system. I didn't know the equivalent in my head. Ay.
So
too much patch bay and vagina talk. It got all mixed up together. Now we're dealing with measurements.
All right. Well, now we're going to go back out we're going to go back out to the west a little bit. Arizona breaks ground on tiny homes for teachers amid worsening educator shortage.
All right. Let's get those teachers in there.
This is the level that we're at.
Wait, how big are the teachers? We're going to need some small teachers. Let's get some small teachers out there, people.
Okay. This is from May 2nd by CNN and this is May 2nd, 2023. So this is the Phoenix CNN, and then desperate to find educators amid a nationwide shortage, an Arizona school district is breaking ground on an unusual recruitment tool: tiny homes for teachers. Yeah, like you know, you get to live right next to the school that you have to work at. I mean, I think I like the idea of a tiny home. I think they're really cool for some people, but like, really? They shouldn't be forced to like have to like live in a tiny home right by the school. Like, so Chino Valley United School District is using federal money to build 10 studio units, each 400 square feet on a vacant lot behind the elementary school. Well, teachers will pay roughly $550 per month, well below the market rate for rent. The homes expected to be finished by early fall are designed to be transitional housing and a way to lure educators to their schools over other districts across the country. So, yeah, what do you guys think? Is this like your kind of job? You're like, yeah, you're definitely within a school zone.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, like, it might help out somebody that's just like getting started, but like it also might create that like now they're stuck there. You know what I mean? Like now the teacher is kind of like, oh well, I'm only paying this much. They're only paying me that much. So like, unless you really
It's like we're getting paid shit, so at least we're getting a shitty little house too.
But then you get stuck paying
for a shitty little house.
For a shitty little house that's like not yours.
That's not yours. Well, that's the problem. I thought we were giving them. But we're giving these to the teachers. Come on, people.
Maybe if they were like rent to own, if you had some equity in it or something.
Yeah, if you got a credit score over 770, we'll move you right in tomorrow. We have you teaching history and world politics.
I mean, it's just like
they don't do home ec anymore, do they?
It's a little close.
We'll teach you how to fry eggs.
So districts are fighting over applicants, and we sometimes don't get any, and we have to do with people that are not fully certified.
Not fully certified. Well, you can't have everything. You got slave labor, and they're teaching. So you got teacher slaves. Teacher slaves, you can't expect the upper echelon of teacher slaves at first. When you first get started. They are tiny homes, after all. I mean,
yeah. What if the teacher?
What if your teacher is a giant?
Teacher advocates.
What if your teacher is 8'7"?
I don't think they're gonna fit in a tiny home. Then
you'd be a home economics teacher, and he was Mr. Smith, and he was.
Stop.
He's from Uganda, and he was 8'7".
Why? Okay.
But he had terrible scoliosis, so he folded over neatly enough to fit in the building. It was fine. He was a good teacher.
Okay, this is getting weird.
He just folded himself in half like a ferret to fit inside the tiny house. It worked out perfectly.
Stop. Teacher advocates see. Oh my God, I'm just picturing this guy folded in half. God damn it.
Just think of Shaq folded in half, stuffed into a tiny house. Just looking one crazy eye saying, all right, now, kids, take out your pencils.
Okay, stop.
All right.
Teacher advocates see the employment crunch as a symptom of other industry problems, from low salaries, decreasing morale, and winning a professional respect.
Professional respect.
They should be that should be addressed instead, and they worry about potential conflicts if a teacher's boss is also their landlord.
Mr. Shaq, I gotta go to the bathroom.
So yeah, say you lose your job, you're definitely losing where you're living too. But with housing affordability, nonetheless, the key hurdle officials in Arizona and California have taken to building their own homes for teachers, with similar proposals as profited by districts in Nevada and Hawaii. So what do you think? Would you do this?
Sure, absolutely. Especially if Shaq was our teacher. Mr. Shaq, did you ever eat ecstasy with Charles Barkley?
Okay.
Did you ever hang out with Madonna? But what they don't have to, these are just tiny homes for the teachers, right? They live in these little houses, right? In the little trailer park of despair where we put the teachers outside the school. They just have a fenced little walkway so they could walk to work every morning, so they don't have to commute. They just really drearily kind of walk in the rain. Well, it's a desert, so it never rains. just windy. It's just god awful windy. And when you're 8'2", that fucking wind, boy. How's the weather up there? Well, it's windy, god damn it. You know? I don't know. And I think Shaq probably did do ecstasy with Charles Barkley.
Can we please?
Just saying. Those guys know how to party, man. They're fucking rich. Kidding me? But it would be cool if you had maybe slightly larger tiny houses, maybe like medium houses for okay teachers. You know what I mean? Like you could incentivize it a little bit, get a better class of teachers, maybe not so tall, and that will fit more readily in the modest, medium-sized houses.
I mean,
I don't know.
So like, yeah, what happened? Like, you want to go get a different job? Like, you have to like just get a whole new house. You have to get a whole new life, right? Like, everything has to change.
Yeah, and small houses in a desert state are difficult to cool unless you live underground or under a giant tree, or as most people in those western states do, under an overpass. Provides lots of shade. You just need
Oh my god, I didn't have it on the screen.
You just need a 6-lane highway. No, you were just reading that. I thought I was behind, and then by the time you were done reading it, I was like, oh. Nope,
sorry.
I was caught up. I mean, a 500-pound person in a tiny home bathroom would look like a can of meat butter. How do you think they got the idea for it?
So
was a smart teacher, ironically, in the wilds of New Mexico, caught in a bathroom. I won't get into the details. It's gory. I don't know if you can apply for a blowjob at the same office, Snowy. Maybe. It is windy there, as I mentioned earlier. But how tall are you? That's really... And are you a good math teacher? Really is the most important part of the thing.
I think it's like too much of a monopoly and too much power over the school. They could be like, well, we know your rent is this much, and you know what I mean. You don't really need you don't drive much or whatever. So like, we can cut your pay, or you know what I mean. Like
yeah, we'll just park the fucking. We'll just get a bunch of fucking tiny houses and put them around the school, and they'll be very convenient. We'll put a fucking. I mean,
like you have no
we'll
privacy.
Put a Quick King on one end. We'll put a Walmart on the other end. You guys are set, man.
Imagine if like you pissed off a parent. You know what I mean? Like they know where you live.
Oh yeah, imagine that.
Like they're
imagine
there.
that you got a pedophile teacher that lives among them in the tiny homes, and all of a sudden there's just like a fire at the tiny home of a random, gym teacher who was extra creepy or something, and. Vigilante justice, man. I've seen it in trailer parks. It could happen in a tiny teacher home park.
Anything could happen.
You never know. You never, ever know. Lucky, have you seen Howard University students respond to Biden's show up at the graduation? Yeah, that's hilarious.
The what?
Remember when he was at Howard and Biden's talking and people are just like, you're a fucking joke, like basically gave him the you're a fucking jackass. The thing. You can't put a 108-inch TV in a tiny home. No, that's exactly how tiny the homes were. They were exactly 108 inches by 108 inches. It was actually 400. It was one cube of 108 inches by 108 inches times 4 with a roof and a basement made out of dirt and mud puddles. But other than that, it was a pretty nice place. I mean, they were just looking out for the teachers, really. That's what it is.
All right. Well, I think that we're gonna wrap it up here. There was a couple other things that I had, but we will cover them soon.
Yeah.
I believe that we have a special guest coming on Sunday, so I'm excited about that. We have a really great topic to cover. I just need to verify it, but I'm pretty sure that it's all set. And what else do we have going on?
Well, I don't know. Maybe Saturday night I'll do a live stream. Maybe tomorrow night. I don't know. We'll do one. I'm gonna do one. I'm gonna do it.
Please check out luckyburritoart.com.
They can pass through the doors if it's lubed with meat butter. I get it. That's why you just lube up those little tiny
Steve,
houses.
I was in the middle of saying something.
I'm sorry. I was reading the thing.
Okay, luckyburritoart.com. Use code MOM20 to save 20% off at checkout. And that's good through the end of this month.
Yep. And also, if you I forgot what I was going to say completely. So, but thank you everybody for watching.
You just like that was it. Like
that was it.
Yeah, this is it.
Was it?
That was it.
That was it. Because I was just going to expand on the meat butter idea. If you lube up the teachers, if they're really tall, you could fold them in half, stick them and lube them up with the meat butter, jam them in those tiny houses every night. Save a lot of space and money, I think. I don't know. But we love you guys. We absolutely 100% do. If you want to help support us, you can do this. Do the thing right there. Here is it. That thing. People can use that thing. That thing's just going to exist until somebody actually. Oh my God! I just saw my face on there.
What does this do? Oh, they have to scan the code.
Scan the code. Use your QR code powers.
I don't.
Good.
I like never use a QR code ever.
But anyway, that's a facsimile of our 91 Dodge van. It has a sliding door. We don't have a sliding door.
We do not have a sliding door. We have barn doors.
We got barn doors. Like a barn, like moo.
But there are links below. And please check out luckyburritoart.com. I would love to know what you think of the stuff that I have on there and some feedback about the website.
Ghost Art's like, once again, blood for Mike.
Yes, I need to choose that.
She's been whipping out earrings, man. Check out the earrings. Maybe play the ad again, and then we're out.
Okay.
Okay.
Which one is it?
We love you, people. It's the last video one. Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Oh, the last video clip. I was like, that doesn't look like it.
It is.
Good night, everybody.
Are you looking for unique and handcrafted art and jewelry that reflects your individuality? Look no further than LuckyBurritoArt.com, your one-stop destination for exquisite handmade treasures. At Lucky Burrito Art, we believe that every piece tells a story. Our customers rave about the quality and uniqueness of our products. When you wear Lucky Burrito Art, you're not just wearing jewelry or displaying artwork or wearing fashion, you're making a statement. Be sure to check out all the categories on LuckyBurritoArt.com. Check out the sold section to see what other folks have bought and loved. Shopping with us is easy and convenient. Simply visit LuckyBurritoArt.com. Browse our extensive collection, and just with a few clicks, your favorite piece will be on its way to you. So if you're ready to discover the world of handcrafted treasures, visit LuckyBurritoArt.com today.